Good morning.
Morning, guys. How you guys doing today?
Are you adjusting there?
Oh, well, actually, this that needs to be adjusted.
Gotcha. All right. Good morning, guys. Today we are going to have an open discussion and discuss Elliot Eastman, that the official newspapers, when we did our live, it was just me. George was at the family house. There was an announcement that witnesses say that Elliot was dumped the day of his abduction, that he had passed away then, and it was kind of like a few of the newspapers said it was a maybe or presumed that he was. And it went from, and I'll have to look at the first date, I believe it was on the 5th, so it's been only like 48 hours, but in the last 24 hours it's went from a maybe to being announced even by the government newspaper that he is dead. So it went from a maybe to that he is. We've had so many speculations on what's happened. There's been a lot of people, emails, messages, things on Facebook. At least 100 and something vloggers have covered this all over the world. Nothing special here in the Philippines. It's been covered everywhere by every type of person. And it's just changed from one story to another. So today it is a discussion, okay? The things that'll be said today, or what is a possibility, what we've heard. We shouldn't have to go through this, but unfortunately, if we're caught saying that Bing's his wife was young, blah, 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 it could have been because of this, and that, they're like, Philippine Antics said it was definitely this. It's not. This is a discussion. Our channel's always been about adult discussions, open discussions, as long as you guys are respectable. We don't, that's just the way it is. So,
And also be aware that we're actually pretty clear on whatever we say, as far as sometimes they get upset with us, like Heidi said, and we said we did not say that. We're just
said
reading to you what the articles say.
Right.
We're very clear on that, and also we are also very clear on whenever we say speculations or not. Unlike other vloggers, like, oh well, this
outrighties, yeah.
No, that's not what happened.
Because
but anyway,
because a lot of people have heard, there's the few vloggers that live over there that say they have all the down, and it's just not one of them that lives in Zamboanga area or over there in
there's
that
a lot. There's a lot of vloggers that
over there that said they knew,
we haven't even heard of,
that said they knew for sure that he was okay, and then a bunch of them said no, that they had learned a while back that there were different injuries done to him, which now, as we know, could not have been. All kinds of speculation. But the thing is the whole thing is just strange. And in my personal belief and reading and all the time I spent listening to Elliot and went through, I'm telling you, I went through his stuff. I mean, no, I wouldn't say every video, but a lot of his videos. And I truly believe that that he did pass on that day. That was our very first thing that we said, is there's no way he survived. And then both me and George had mentioned they would have just tossed him out of the boat. If he passed away or acted up, they'd have done something if he was acting up, and then they would have dumped him. And then when we start getting other information, of course, we always go around and say, well, this could have happened and that could have happened. But originally, we didn't think he did. And then we covered an article where it said he might be alive. We didn't say he's definitely alive. We said a news station, a cable station, said that there were witnesses saying he was alive. Well, just following that, you still get that weird vibe inside. And I still do. Because here's the thing, only one of the family members have spoken at this point. One of the sisters, showed the news article, but his wife, silent. The family's still silent. And so we understand now what was going on. And from George knowing about the way things go on here in the Philippines, they stayed silent to try to find the bad guys. He's been gone. They've known he's been gone. I'm sorry, they've known he's been gone. When the Marines brought the family food, and that was looks to be the Carisha's mother or his wife's mother's mother. They looked sad then. They knew. Okay, it seemed that they had known when they took that food, and it's the way the article read. I don't think really anybody covered that article, but to me, it seemed like at that point they knew. So when all that stuff went on, and they had all those people, and the arrests were all going on, and everybody's like, "Whoa, you this that." There were 8 of them. There were 12. You guys don't know what they're talking about. There could be more than one. The whole point is they knew the whole time. I bet you they knew when that kid talked in November that they knew. Okay, so they've known. And let me tell you what I told George. I said, when I knew it was real? When they said it made it to TMZ. If TMZ says the boy's gone, they wouldn't have spoke with him.
I can't believe it made it to TMZ. It's kind of a little left field there, but
no, not really. But here's the thing: it was on their radar to cover it, and they didn't, because with that guy being an attorney, they're not going to say something unless they're really, really sure. They're pretty stickler about covering something they know they have facts. They now just put it out. It was like within the last couple hours. So, and they're saying that he is. Let's go ahead and run the newspaper articles here. And hello, MB. Good morning, Lou. So we're going to run these newspaper articles. These all came up in the first day that we did the, you can pause at any time. These all came up the first day that this came out. We did the live stream. I did because George was gone. Or pause a minute. Are you paused?
Yeah.
Okay, I can't tell. And again, after that, about a day or so after that, it went into different. So it went from saying that, okay, this one just said that he was, let's see.
Well, here it says
May. Okay.
And then it switched over.
Correct. Well, these are different
Right.
things.
No, I know.
But here by the end, now GMA is saying that the police officiated that he is dead. It's no longer, you can go ahead and play. It's no longer
maybe.
It's a recovery. So, and even then they don't think that they're going to be able to recover them. And so presumed, there's CNN, believed, okay, these are all about 48 hours ago. Likely, okay, feared, and these are all big news stations. Okay, feared, believed, E-News, Extra. Okay, boom, stop. You weren't ready. Let's bring it back. All right, here this is on the 5th, which was about 48 hours ago, but it was about a day after we did the live stream at 3:44 in the afternoon. So it was about almost, I did it, so it had been the next day. Here it is. This comes from the Philippine News Agency, the Republic of the Philippines. They're the closest. They are they're tied to the Philippines government, right? Or they're not? Aren't they the government news?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'll have to double check on that. But here they say he was confirmed. And in several news articles, can you check on that? No,
well,
go ahead and leave it there. I'm going to read the article.
Technically, by law, they should be, because you can't have, for example, Philippine National Bank, you can't say that
unless you actually
you're part of the government. But the question is, are they still? Because kind of like Philippine National Bank used to be part of the government. Now it's not. I'm not quite sure if there's, Philippine News Agency still is.
Right. So I'm going to read the news article. The news article came out about a day after we did the live stream, and it says authorities are now confirming Eastman Elliot, an American abducted in Zamboanga del Norte, died the night that he was taken. The lieutenant acting information officer of the Pro 9 said Elliot, 50. I don't know why they got him at 50 years old. That's the second article. I noticed how they do that. Was fatally injured by his abductors when he resisted, and he did die while being transported by the motorboat. And here's the thing, we discuss it because we've had discussions. We've covered this now for about 6 weeks. We said they're not going to leave him on land. So even if he did get injured or they reshot him or did any of the injuries that people have been saying happen, they still would have drug him to the water, and they wouldn't have just like buried a hole, or they just wouldn't have went through all that effort. That's what they would have done with him. But at this point, it says while being transported. Okay. So, in the course of the investigation, the Critical Incident Management Task Group, CIMTG, said Eastman they obtained information from a witness of his untimely death on the night. Now, I'm wondering, in November, when all that food was given and the witness of the kid of the witness, and they had all those people that they had arrested, somebody spoke that night. And I think the reason they stayed quiet was because they were still looking for others. So I think that was the hush order on the family, them in the United States. Well, it's been a couple of days since they've said that he's gone, and there's still nothing from the family. I know I've been talking to Sarah. Sarah, Ted, you guys have been great help in regards to this. And Sarah, thank you so much. She's been boots on the ground over there doing a lot of work for us. And I do appreciate all your hard work and care.
Help and support. Yeah.
We've been having like late night conversations. We've really, really dove deep into this with all these possibilities. But I believe at that point that all those guys knew it. It was a hush order. We were wondering why the family's been silent, but now becomes a double mystery of why are they still silent? I get it, and you know, I don't know.
Yeah. Now, just before we continue with the articles and stuff,
Yeah, because I got there.
just real quick, for those of you who are trying to figure out what's going what Pro 9 is, Pro 9 is Police Regional Office Number 9. So it's the district, I guess, is what they call it in the U.S. It's a police district. That's the analogy as far as Western and Philippine. Pro 9 is the police district. That's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. It says here that the witnesses reported that he did receive 2 gunshot wounds, which I want to let you know, forever people just thought it was 1. I know a few times you start saying, hey, we found out it was 2.
Well, here's the thing. I'll tell you my theories later because I don't want to. But the other one is the M16. Now, remember, M16 is an antiquated weapon.
About them saying that
it's not necessarily police, because when I say antiquated,
I would say that basically that's going to take a little while to explain, because a lot of people still feel
what I'm saying
that
is
it was linked to the.
It's like the West. Like, do you see cops having M16s? They don't. It's an antiquated weapon.
Right. So a lot of people felt that it was somebody still within the police, and that there's no way it could have been anybody but that, and that nobody else could own those weapons.
No, they're all on M-Force now. For anybody who knows anything about weapons, they're all on M-Force now.
Right.
The only M16 I've seen is with a security guard. Put it that way. That's how old a weapon is. If a security guard's holding one of those, you're like, because I was like,
and that's here, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Are they at the bank?
And this is Angel City. Angel City.
Yeah.
We're updated. Yeah. But anyway,
yeah, so he'll get into that, because I'm sure a few people will actually, deep dive. So, get your theories together, what you guys actually think. Do you still think it's weird? I can tell you that the speculation has been on the spectrum of him being the loan dealer to his bragging and a love triangle, to the ex-boyfriend, to something inside of the family, to him being a pedo and a dealer. I mean, guys, just about everything come up, and we've received some weird messages where somebody, it seemed, had too much information. And then we've had a bunch of, I'm going to say it, weirdos that have contacted us trying to get us to spread the same false news that was spread down there about it was, that we've heard about everything, that he was held and they were torture, everything.
And to clarify too, guys, remember, it's not the West. And the reason why I keep saying this, kind of like when the Philippines, they say speedboat, it's not like Miami Vice, guys. We're not talking about speedboats. We're talking about boats that are not designed for fishing.
Right. There was a point where there was the article that said the kid, and I'm like, well, that makes sense that they actually used a car and everything. But as everybody was saying, they could have been referring to, they called it a motorized vehicle. I was the one assuming that they could have drug him the other way and took him by car,
Well,
not by
that's what I'm
boat.
saying. Don't take everything that you see, especially in the Philippines, as what it is. It's not. It's not what it is. Like I said, like for example, well, I don't think Scott's in the room right now, but for example, Scott's boat could be considered as a speedboat only because it's not a fishing boat. You know what I'm saying? So you guys have to like read between the lines, and unless you actually live here and
Hey,
know
Sarah.
how the people use the vernacular, you're like, wait a minute, that's not what he
Well,
said.
that's what yeah, so that was, I won't call it a mistake because let me tell you what, things are still not clear, but the fact that the Pro 9 and the guys down there officially are saying he's gone, he's gone. It's the recovery. Here's another thing. I really wanted to replay that body that washed ashore because too many people actually really thought it was him. We're not, because YouTube just doesn't like. You can pause it there. That's the sister. If you can take that back. But it's a that looked like him. I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody said. The facial hair, the hair under his armpits, the nipples. Doctor friends here saying the skull even looked like it was a Caucasian. The height, the rope around his leg, and how soon did that wash up after that?
It was almost
Within a week, two
yeah.
weeks, under 2 weeks, maybe under a week. I'd have to look at the dates. But either way, everybody thought that was him. And here's the thing, they probably just wouldn't say.
No.
I'm, that's where we are. That's where I am on that because a lot of people are like, yeah, I'm almost sure. We've actually received emails and messages sent saying that was him. Now that they're coming through and saying he was, now you guys know. So it's the whole thing has just been the strangest thing. And today I'm going to go through a little bit more of this article. This here is the sister um, of Carisha. I'm hearing now that she has a different name. It says, I can't imagine that you would be happy here, but something bad happened that night, and it was like a nightmare to us. Then we will know that you are gone. It's painful to think because in a moment you're gone. We can't believe that you're gone. For us, you still are here and alive in our minds and hearts. Elliot Eastman. Okay, so that was the actual translation that's actually here. She's the only one that spoke. His wife has not made any public statement. I'll have to double check. I'm sure a bunch of people has anybody, I haven't seen anything, but let me check here in a minute. But let me see what else they got in the article. It says that the CIMTG for Eastman filed complaints against 4 alleged serious illegal detention, kidnapping suspects. They filed on October 29th, and it said they arrested another suspect on November 18th, while 2 have remained at large. Elliot, a Vermont native who has been living in Cebuco for 5 months, which again is the strangest thing. This time, you guys, they keep placing this article where, like, I just seen some other huge channel that keeps mentioning, well, he's only been in the Philippines for 5 months. Well, these are people that are grabbing other articles and not doing any legwork. Elliot has been in the Philippines on and off for almost 2 years before this all happened. He started out coming here over a woman that he met online, brought him in, and that's how he met her. He went back. He's a food delivery driver, and he came in and out several times. This last time he came in July for the graduation of his wife. Okay, this would indicate that she was, and per her own YouTube, or well, she's got a YouTube too. Per her social media, she was in high school. Okay. And so she had to be somewhere around 16 and a half. So there's been a whole debate about the age of his wife. And even though he was around 9 years older than her, that could have upset the community over there. So they keep that on the backfire there. But his wife, yeah.
No. All I was gonna say is, remember, he's been going back and forth for 2 years. What it means is he knew what he was doing.
Uh-huh.
He wasn't like, hey, come over here, come live with
Oh, it's
us,
so
and then
dangerous. Yeah,
yeah,
and
and
he
then he
fell
flew over there.
into
It's
it.
like, oh my
And
gosh, I didn't know it's so unsafe. No, he knew what he was doing.
nope, he had been in and out of the country several times, and he had at least returned to that area at least 2 to 3
Correct.
times. I have to say 2 or 3 because it's hard to calculate with his social media. But I do know that he returned back in sometime in April, and he did the graduation, and then he celebrated her 18th birthday in September. Okay.
Yeah.
And but yeah, so I'm
We'll
kinda,
go back to the news articles, but since we said that he knew what he was doing, just so you guys know, again, this is actually, as you can see, it says Cebuco is basically not a safe area. Okay, it's also highest in as far as kidnappings are concerned. This is basically a no-go zone, and also
mhm.
these are facts. These are not these are not even like maybe sort. No, these are facts, and also Cebuco particularly is one of the poorest municipalities in that area. Poorest. Now, I'm not the rule in any third world country or developing country, as it were, is again, there's nothing wrong with living with the poorest community. The keyword poorest community. Okay. The reason being is because there's this actually, whenever you come across the word resettlement area in the Philippines, I'll go back into the article. These are the poorest areas in that area when they say resettlement. The reason being is because when a government sets up a resettlement area, these places are free to the people. They literally give the homeless people houses to live in. I mean, no, the Philippine government does do a lot of good stuff, yes, but you have to remember too that most of these homeless people are the ones who had some run-ins with the law, and therefore when you go in the poorest areas, keyword poorest areas, you have a high concentration of these people that had run-ins with the law. Okay. Now I'm not saying that, you can't judge them because they did something in the past. I'm not saying that, but you have to remember some of these are fresh, fresh out of the clink, as you call it, and they still haven't changed their ways.
I wouldn't say. I mean, I'll have to disagree with you. I just think it's a lot of poor people with no income. They're bored over there.
No,
There's a lot of
no,
things
no, that's
board on top of board
what
like
you're
they
saying
are
is
there.
actually building on it.
Oh,
The
gotcha.
Because, like you said, they have nothing. And again, this is basic psychology.
They're
If
out of the
you have
camper over
nothing,
here.
you're out of luck, and you already crossed that line already.
Right. I'm tell you.
It's not gonna make You're not gonna think twice about crossing that line. You're like, well, worst case scenario is they're gonna just throw me in jail. Been there, done that.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of places like when me and Heidi first landed here. Heidi says, "Oh, what about this place? What about this place?" I said, "No, no." This is basically where Eastman was, just so you guys know.
Yeah, that's all I had basically on the article. So we're just going to let the rest of these clips run through. Here it says confirmed. Okay, that said confirmed dead again. That was less than 24 hours ago from Star. Okay, already. Okay, from Sunstar. So it went from the same newspaper, same television people saying maybe to he is. So for me, there's been so many possibilities as we're all watching the stories again, anything from the not just us, a bunch of people that it was the 5-6 loans, which could have done it. Him converting to Islam could have done it. I mean, he was running around without proper clothes on. half what they would consider undressed in front of young children, and his gyrations during his vlogs, and to everything, to running the sorry store and bragging that he spent 40,000 pesos, him bragging, and it was bragging. It was bragging about the, what's wrong here? Bragging about the amount of money that he spent on Starlink and how much he was making, to then complaining about family members. So could it have been family? Could it have been the ex-boyfriend? Because there were run-ins where he was in the live streams, and there were times that it was known that he was around, like he was watching. Okay. It went from that he was a dealer, that his loans went along with dealing. They said he couldn't sit still, so maybe he was a dealer, to the possibilities that he had a strange behavior and he was always hanging with the young kids, that something could have happened with the young kids. And they're saying that alone, of course, would have been a reason that they just couldn't have him around anymore. It was, but for me personally, to know that they're saying that somebody that said that they were police, ex-police and all that, then comes in the point of, do you think there was any ex-cops, or maybe it's time for you, or should we play?
I wouldn't go into that right now.
Okay.
But yeah,
all right,
we'll get into it.
Yeah.
Let's play this real quick.
We're going to play during my live. I went ahead and I played the Gone Elliot Eastman. We've shortened it. Okay, so we've got like a 10-minute clip that's going to, it kind of let you hear some of his own things, because Elliot predicted his own demise over and over again, which a lot of people still think that's weird. It's
Well, what's weird is he didn't do anything about it.
That's really weird. So we're going to play this. It's got some new music that we wrote and we did in the last 24 hours. Both me and George produced another song. And yes, it is ours. We just didn't play the instruments or sing it, but we did produce it. So we're going to go ahead and play this. And yeah, so.
He's not just scared for your daily life here. He's gonna solve a lot. But he just
Yeah. I mean, even me, I'm afraid too, okay? Don't put words in my mouth. Even me, I'm afraid too. I'm just trying to be safe. Like, if I were to go with him, it would have to be like a total, like, nobody really knows about it. Kind of like totally, like, secret kind of deal. Like,
even nobody's knowing. Everybody gonna see, everybody gonna is there.
yeah, that's it.
You cannot hide the eyes of the people.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's just like, I want to do that. Like, that sounds fun and like really cool. Like, he's going to catch like small fish with a big net. I'm sure he's already going with somebody else, right? I imagine somebody else is already going to go. But it would be cool to go see that and like take a video of it. I'm gonna reach 2K, bro. If I stay on this same track, I'm gonna be at 2K. Soon enough. Like being scared here. Dangerous. Gee, come on. That's what our day's been like today. The guy we lent money to, he returned our money. We lent him $21,400 and he came back with $23,500. Some little extra. We sent him back with $35K. Yeah. Should be seeing a little bit extra profit off of this. Maybe in 1 month we'll have already 3,500 profits. You know, business. I think the guy had a gun. Some sort. There's like so many of them. There's like 4 of them. 4 people there. As long as I'm here, my life is still at risk, you know? Still at risk, that's the reality. My life's at risk a little bit here. Especially the area that I'm in, it's not even just the Philippines. It's like, this area that I'm in is like the most dangerous area, one of the most dangerous areas in the Philippines, you know? So, it's literally like the red zone area. So yeah, of course, I'm scared. Of course, I've been afraid. There's nights that I'm afraid. There's times I'm afraid. There's times that I'm not afraid. There's times that I don't sleep well, but it's gotten better, you know? In the past, I had a hard time sleeping. Sometimes in that time, I just sleep. My dad has to like on the pipe and simple, so that's what I'm there. Somebody get physical. Exactly. That's my point. I mean, you impress her because she's the one who's not going to do stuff. Because she's not doing a good job. She's leaving her house wide open. You guys are worried about my safety, right? Why are you thinking the most dangerous part of my life is at the nighttime, right? Inside this house is when I'm most scared. And then you're going to leave our house wide open so somebody can crawl in, especially knowing that forces. Exactly, that's my point. That's my point. How the big deal there is in my life, and now we have a big hole in our house. And that's okay. You guys are worried about me going 10 meters down the beach during the day. I mean, it's not a big deal. That's not even dangerous at all. I'm not worried about that. You guys are like worried for no reason, 100%. And then it's not a big deal if there's like a huge gap in our house that somebody can crawl through in the middle of the night. Okay, that doesn't make sense. And then we got a hole here for if anybody wants to crawl in anytime at night and take some groceries, like, feel free. Yeah, already know, dude.
No, I don't wanna go, just only you and me. I don't wanna go, just only you and me. I'm afraid. I'm afraid if we don't have somebody with us.
I don't really know because everybody's telling me right now there's people out there planning to come get me, bro. No, that's true though. There's people coming here to tell my family that there's people that want to kidnap me or they're threatening to kidnap me or stuff like that. Like every day this is happening. This is like a real life thing for me. And that's why no foreigners or no any there's no tourists staying here because they're smart at that. But for me, I've been living here. I've been taking it.
The world doesn't know me like you do, but they're honest. Your silhouette against ocean lights looking timeless. Speaking truth through the static of midnight confessions. Each word like smoke rings floating past simple questions. Got me feeling vulnerable, stripped down to essence. I'm missing, but missing you. I only see darkness, but you can't find me. I'm missing, can you see me? Like breathing underwater and still living. Every touch deliberate, every moment carved into memories that keep my cold heart scarred. Can you see me? Building something dangerous with these paper foundations. Now we're building universes between your place and mine. Your perfume mixed with rainfall makes me stay here in the Philippines. Got me thinking about forever, missing my family. Still dancing with our shadows to that Maxwell song. You humming melodies, be still, not scared. I feel so lonely, trapped and scarred. Now I'm drowning in your wavelength, barely trying to speak. I'm missing, but missing you. I only see darkness, but you can't find me. I'm missing, can you see me? Like breathing underwater and still living. Every touch deliberate, every moment carved into memories that keep my cold heart scarred. Can you see me? 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 Can you see me?
Well, I was
All
just
right, yeah,
saying,
we were muted
yeah,
during the thing.
as they were saying,
That song was produced by us. That's what we call Shen and the Mobile Dolls. We do have a music channel. It does take talent, regardless if we have help from AI to create these songs. Short of doing the singing, then it still was produced by us, written by us, and it was based for Elliot and what has actually happened. So we've been producing our own music all the way through, along with the sound channel. So we enjoy it. It's something that we do. Again, you still have to, it still takes talent, guys. So we're really proud of some of the music we've been putting out lately, but it was very eerie to watch that and, think about, I'm missing, but still missing you. I'm sure he is. The last 24 hours of the video that we put together was very creepy. I mean, He spent a lot of time with family members, these children. He ate a crap load. That's all he did. It was weird. Just that 14 vlogs, he did nothing but eat all day. And he was eating, boredom probably. He played a lot with the cats. He had conversations with his wife in regards to going on a fishing trip with her brother, which she said no. She was always telling him no. The article where we had put like 17 days before that, they had a falling out about the sister. I don't know as of this moment how many sisters she has, but she had quite a few of them. But so much going on that I can't
Yeah.
process.
But before we read the comments, because that's where all these discussions will basically fruition, so to speak. Be aware that it's Elliot's behavior why a lot of people believe certain things. For example, he's always fidgety and not in a normal way, like kind of like
Nervous, yeah.
like a weird fidget kind of deal. So that leads to different theories. Also, be aware that on most of his live videos, there's nothing wrong hanging out with kids. However,
Yeah, we see some of the theories going around in the
right.
live
So
stream, but here's the thing. I was talking with George and I was like, yeah, we don't want to, discuss a bad light. It's an open discussion. But we both looked at each other and were like, him just being with her at 16 puts him into that title that they threw on a vlogger months ago. Sure did. They were quick to label other people in the past about that, but she was a minor. We don't care if he converted to Islam or whatever. He's still 9 years older than her and started when she was in high school, attended her graduation and her 18th birthday. The whole point is something is really strange.
well, not to mention, well, like I said, we'll probably read down the line and then we'll get into that topic, I guess, as it were, because it got brought up
Yeah.
several times. Point being is, we hear most of the theories are already out there, and it's mostly what you guys already think.
And we're not trying to like fit a puzzle with a puzzle, but the basic, he was just taken for money or blaming the guys that are in the factions or political parties just doesn't fit the scene that it was an accident.
No. There's a lot of things that
something, down to the point of him being shot on the spot in the house, that was anger. That was anger. They wouldn't have shot their prize in the foot right there on the spot and then had to get rid of him because something happened. This is something, just like they said, the crime of passion situation. Something angrily went on that night.
Well,
it wasn't over political. It wasn't because it was like me. It's like, take me if you can, suckers. No, it wasn't that deal on the spot. There's something else.
Well, like they said, usually the simplest answer is the right one. Let's not, but like I said, let's go down the line.
Yeah.
MB Philippine. Hello, Philippine. Hey, MB, how you doing?
We love you too, Pablo.
Yeah. Lou says there's absolutely nothing to do here.
And I'll answer Pablo real quick further down. He said, why was I crying? That was when we released the Elliot Eastman video about his last 24 hours. So both me and George for 2 or 3 days sat through this kid's footage. And if you'd have watched the other one, you'd have heard why I was crying. It is still available. Basically, we're grandparents and parents. And even if the worst scenario came up of what we've been talking and other people are talking, he's still a human. He's still a person. And we're still parents. So somebody loved him. That's what had upset me, because we had spent a long time, late into the hours. We spent a lot of time editing that video and getting the small clips and watching to see what was actually going on. So, yeah. Yep. So that's why it was just a little upsetting after sitting through his stuff that day. So
I'll be happy. Thumbs up. John Ryder. Hello, George and Heidi and all. Cheatman says, good day, everyone. Hello, Heidi and George.
No, we've said that. We've never been to that island, nor would we actually. Now, I did make a statement that I believe I could go down there in the daytime. There are other vloggers and there are other people living down there. I just wouldn't live down there long term. And I definitely wouldn't have went to that area, because the others I don't think are anywhere even near that area. I think the 10 or 15 vloggers that I'm aware of that are, because there's a bunch of them over there, Filipino and non-Filipino, they're not living where he was, right there at the water.
No.
They're there and they'll make full claim they know everything, but I would travel there, and I can for those know-it-alls. But the thing is I couldn't see going there. I would probably never go. I doubt you would ever. The closest I would get would be going over, is it Siargao Island, and that's still
Yeah,
in that
sure.
region.
Now,
And by the way, they've been out of power for a few days over there. So
that's
I just
also
think,
another reason why.
yeah.
Yeah. Also, be aware that these certain areas have a modus operandi, as it were. And what I'm saying is, it's kind of like in the West. They know if you're not from there or not. I mean, obviously, if you're an expat, I mean, you'll stick out like a sore thumb. Well, I'm saying, even if you're a Filipino, they'll know that you don't belong there, and they will pick on or prey on those who are not from that area. That's usually again an MO, as it were. Timothy Rogers, good morning from Columbus, Ohio. Good morning, Tim. Sarah Tyson, hello. Heidi and George, hello. Roomies. Spelling behalf says Sarah's cool. Yes, she is. Victoria says, good day, Heidi and George and Philippine Antics crew. Good day, Victoria. John Ryder. Now, John Ryder, this is absolutely correct. Kidnapping is pretty common in that area. In fact, if you Google it, that's the first thing that will pop up. Again, he knew what he was getting into. He knew where he was. It's not a mystery. He knew what he was doing. Now Victoria says, Heidi, I also thought it was him. Now what she was referring to is when that remnant, as it were, showed up from the shore. I hate to say it, there's a lot of really distinct. It's
That was, and for a couple of the other vloggers to say, oh, such speculation and jumping on it until they actually say he's gone. I mean, so many different channels were like, there's just no way, but I'm sorry. I'm still, with all this that's coming out and knowing it did happen right away, that almost happened right away. It was within a
almost.
week or
It's
something.
within.
It was a week. It
Mhm.
was a weekend when that body came up, and all the including the facial hair that was on the guy's face, and it was just like,
Right.
okay, you know. And George has a theory on that later, but we would just have to. Yeah.
Lou says, according to recent data, the average number of foreigners visiting the Philippines is around 5.5 million tourists per year. Hey, second win, how you doing? Yellow Antics crew, Heidi and George. Pablo San. Hey, Pablo San, how you doing? Pablo San says, Heidi, hello, you hottie.
Okay.
All right,
Hey, what's
Pablo
up?
San. AA, not the usual AA, but AA. Like, now this is again like, according to AA also was involved with a 10-year-old. Now this is not the first time we've heard of this.
No, almost from the beginning. And here's something, when I started to hear that, and then I was kind of passive about, okay, well, she was 16, you know, and he converted, and if the family said he was okay. But the more I thought about it, it's still a 9-year difference. And at one point, he admitted he had his live streams taken away because of acts with children. That was his exact words. He said that they took his live streams from him because he allowed the kid to have phone, and he had kids a bunch on his channel. Because he let that younger sister, like several times in the videos, he was sitting down with that younger sister, cousin, or whoever that girl he was TikToking with. That's not the one sister we keep showing her article.
Oh, somebody else.
Yeah. He actually had his live streams taken at one point for too many kids on here, and letting them use their phone.
They can do that.
Yes, they can. You know, the truth to YouTube is you're not supposed to have kids, you know, like you can't specifically be using your kids on footage, or too many of them in there where it's direct footage of just kids. And there was footage that was still remaining that showed he let that one that he'd been sitting next to all the time talking with, he had her in there, and she was using the phone to record other kids. So it was a kid recording other kids on his live stream, and it must have been. It was like right before that. So something.
Yeah. Pablo San says, "Love your hat, George." Now, second one says the reason why he was ex-nayed was it was probably all the above, meaning from the 5-6 loans to marrying that girl to what you guys are just saying just recently, and that's what the second one says. Probably all of the above he did, and that's probably why he got ex-nayed. And Pablo Sanchez says yes, that's why. Now John Ryder says now again there is a Mindanao thing. Honestly, there again you don't screw around Mindanao. Seriously, it's a saying here in the Philippines. Nothing to do with expats. It's really a saying here. You
It's kind
don't
of like
you
people
don't
from the
f around
Bronx
in
and New York.
Mindanao.
Yeah,
That's a
you don't mess
thing.
around in New York.
Oh, they say that in New York.
Well, there's just certain people you wouldn't mess with in
Yeah.
certain areas.
So
Yeah.
Mindanao would be similar, except But yeah, John Ryder says my wife was raised in Mindanao, Ozama City, and they won't go there.
Well, yeah. The one couple that was taken. Okay, there were several sets of the kidnappings that happened in the last 20 years. And the one previous was a British husband, I believe it was, and a Filipina. They were recovered. They went in and got him. They didn't even play around. They got him. It was recovered. So that's why this whole thing's been strange, especially after the FBI came in. I think the FBI knew then. They were just there to catch him. And a few of our people was smart and said that they believe when the FBI came in, they already knew, and they were only there to recover and find out what it was about. And also, they were saying there is speculation that still somebody up in ranks is involved. So they were bringing them in, as But the other one was a Filipina that lived in the U.S. and the boy was 17 or 18. So she'd been in the US for a long time. A rich businessman husband. She came in, went right down there. They got her and her son, drug them off the exact same way, and a boat drug them through the, I call it a forest or through the woods, and kept them out there in a cage and stuff. So they did all that and requested something astronomical back then as far as a ransom, and they got it and they got out, but I think they were taken for like 2 months or something. They had a whole news thing on this. So that actually, money was recovered in that manner.
Yeah.
But they said that they had not even considered going down there and that they were worried about going to those areas, and then it happened. So a lot of times they come into those resorts, oh, I'll be okay. I'm at a resort. No, I'll pass. So it's like, they might take me.
Good luck.
What?
I won't let him take you, Bucky.
Sure.
You're mine, Bucky. I won't let him take you.
Sounds like that guy saying,
It's free.
my mother-in-law lives at 43621 and she doesn't have her green card and the gate's open and there's no dogs. I would hate for Mr. Trump to come get my mother-in-law, but I'm so worried.
That was
messed up.
That was hilarious.
That was so messed up. Don't mess with Heidi.
That was a joke, though. Obviously.
Yeah, no, it
But
was
no,
hilarious.
it's
Yeah, it was on TikTok the other day, and I was like, it was funny. He was giving out all the information, and the gate is red, and
I
he
know.
went through all full details. Like, here she is. You can't miss her.
Yeah. Now, again, this is not speculation. What I'm about to say, because people are asking, like, what's he doing in that bad area? Well, he's there for her specifically. There's a reason why he's there. He's really there for her. Now, that part is not speculation. What speculation is, this part. Again, it's up to you whether you judge whether he was there for love, because he really loved her, or, as Pablo San says, yes, he wanted young booty.
Yeah, you were just saying that the word did come from you. What was it? Your wording? Oh, well, you can't say it. Never
No,
mind.
I can, but I said it before in this other live. He was there for the Uzi.
There's something just I don't understand, and a lot of people, it's like you just can't understand why he would have actually. I just don't get it.
Yeah. Now,
I'm still trying to figure out why because he returned and then he complained. It's you know he kept saying things like that, like there's things going on with your sister and I don't have any freedom and I can't do this and I can't do that, and like he seemed absolutely miserable. I'm telling you what, you couldn't give me $50 million to live with. I couldn't live there if I had all the money and your oh boy, how do I put this? Your
okay.
Johnson was made of
Now the
gold.
sister thing.
If your Johnson was made of gold and it was all that and sparkling and my eyes rolled the back of my head, I'm not on board literally for that.
Now the sister thing. This is my speculation from the get-go. Okay. I was like, why is he highlighting her so much?
No, it's just like I don't like George that much for $5.
What I'm saying is, why is he highlighting the sister that he argues with so much?
Well, no, we can't say that's her. There were multiples.
Okay.
There's one that has kids. That's the one that's been making the statements, the older one with the kids. That one is some other cousin, other younger sister. I can't say how many.
Well, either
she had.
way,
it's a whole different one.
There's reasons why certain conflicts happen to people. Either they're actually literally hate each other, or remember, there's a fine line between love and hate. Just saying. And again, that's what AAA says. George and Heidi. Did you see the videos where his interactions with kids? Yeah, he's
quite a few.
Again, I mean, I don't know the guy, but questionable is a good word.
It just doesn't make any sense that was strictly the MO was because of the money. And they came in and got him. He didn't have no money. His other video showed he didn't have money. I can't see they would have used him for a political statement. What does make sense is internal issues within the household. Whether that happened, they knew, they didn't know. Knowing he was ready to leave on the 24-hour video, he stepped forward and said that he was ready to go home over and over again. The same night, he said he was ready to go home. I want to go home to my grandparents right before. Gone at 11:30 at night, sometime between 8 and 10. He said he wanted to go home.
It's possible that something happened
and he knew.
And he knew they were going to come after him. Because I found it really odd that day, that's when he decided to make 14 lives.
14 lives. Isn't that all weird?
It's very odd. A person.
So you think that he knew?
He knew they were coming. He knew. And she knew they were coming.
So he was.
She knew they were coming because she didn't want to be with him. But then again, there's probably also a different reason why she didn't want to be with him.
That night, I told you.
Correct.
He said, "Are you going to sleep here tonight?" She said, "No." She said something about no.
Right.
She didn't want to, and that could have just been because she didn't want to, but she said something about being scared, or you guys would have to go watch his last few lives. And I was like, did she just say that? And both me and George looked at her. She said something about being scared, and you know why.
Yeah.
And so maybe she had told him at this point, I'm afraid somebody's coming in the night and I don't want to be here, but who knows? I know that he was sleeping alone when all that went down. Right. He literally showed himself sleeping with the camera and stuff. It was crazy, guys.
Now, what did the lives have anything to do with him knowing? It's called visibility. When you know you're in trouble, you try to be visible as possible.
You're thinking it may be
it may protect you, correct?
Right, yeah. It's kind of like it can't. Oh, that is creepy. Think about it. If he was on camera, he assumed they wouldn't do it to him live because he.
So he kept the cameras running as much as possible.
Because I
guys, again, on that day, it was the only day he did that.
Up to about an hour or two, yeah.
He knew they were coming. Now, Pablo-san, I would love to put that up there, but I'm not. But I will put up the next statement. Pablo-san says he made a small boy cry. Now, we've heard that too. That's another theory.
And something kept him there, is what Ted said. Yeah, something. I don't know, or maybe it was just at that point he. Here's another speculation that why the family didn't respond. Maybe they knew something. Maybe there was some
Well, that's what I
issues with
said. That's
him.
probably why she didn't want to be with him at that point.
Well, or why the family's not really responding. I mean, I don't want to go in because, well, we know somebody's going to talk
Well,
about this.
focus.
G and H said that he
Now-
was a blah blah, but that was okay to turn another vlogger into all of that, but not for this guy where it was really obvious too. It was, I don't know. It's just all sad, and it's who knows.
Yeah.
But it's not. It was never okay. Clearly, that he definitely was dating a minor from the beginning. Again, 16 and 19 would have been different. No, it was 16 and 24, 25 at the time, 24. And so, I don't know. I'm apt to believe the government now that says he's 50 with all that partial gray hair. I think he might be 50.
No, impossible. Impossible. Pablo San says he's a sick man. I'm pretty sure a lot of people in the chat will agree with you. Engelbert Salak, hey, how you doing? How you can. Good morning to you there.
Good morning.
Second wins is doodle diddle the boodle diggle singing to the music. Yeah. A says
second one he did it all for the nookie.
Right.
Nookie. I guess we could have made a song.
He was being held against his will for some time because of his behavior towards kids. It's sad, but he was not an innocent guy. And again, this is not just from AA. There's a lot of different people who said
that
this.
We're, whatever, but he wanted to be in social media. His life's out there. You all talked about us. You talk about the next blogger. Once you're out there, you know it, and people are going to talk. And he was out there. His whole entire life was out there, and he did not leave. The mystery is why did he never leave? It's like for about a half a minute, it's like it goes through my head. It's like, oh, we're talking bad about the dead. And then I'm like, not really. This is one of the stranger situations. And we knew this was coming. We've been announcing that they're just going to sweep it all under the rug right around the holiday time. And here it is. They went in a 48-hour period to a maybe to he is. And we're going to spend our money on Christmas lights. And Christmas bonuses of rice and stuff. I'm telling you. They just handed that out here, by the way. They gave them rice and little cans of ham, and they did it way in advance, a couple weeks in advance. But that's not a joke. If you guys think I'm joking, they're going to use that budget somewhere else. It's small town down there, and it was killing tourism, literally. And to me, they knew more. And I think there is more, but they don't want to, because if they come forward and said any of the above, down to party favor dealer, to a loan shark, to a boy toy, that it would just look bad on the local government. They didn't do anything about it, or the family knew and didn't do anything about it, or then all that happened in the attack, it would just scare away everybody.
Yeah. Mark Goldberg says long, slow descent into madness, just like Apocalypse Now.
Right.
Great book. Which was based on The Heart of Darkness. Now,
when we wrote that song, man, there was more. I actually had more to put in there. And George says, yeah, we can't put that in there about, sleeping with the fish situation.
Now, Tino says, was Elliot in the autistic spectrum? I actually thought about that several times. That would explain.
There was something else, but something. We said that from the beginning when I said, in the beginning, like the first live or two we did on this, I said that he was special. There's something mentally broken. George is like, hey. I said, I got a lot more to say about that. Remember, I said that he deserved what he got because he was down there. Because and George says, well, nobody deserves that. And so then I reworded my words, and I'm like, well, it was just really stupid because he returned multiple times. And there was so much going on. He knew the danger over and over again. The family told him. He knew. They knew they had to protect him. And the fact that all this happened, it's like, I don't know. There's some blame I feel towards the family too. And, Was it because they were so poor? Was they politically tied? Others said they did have money there. That's what the other house on the mountain was. So many different things. But it's a very apparent, guys, that house was poor. I mean, we seen the dirt floors and them living by the beach, and they had it like that, man.
Well, it
like
was a plywood
they
house,
need
guys.
they needed like $1 million in food stamps or
I
something.
mean,
It was really bad off.
It's a plywood house. It's what they.
There's no way. He was no way. There's just no way, George. I've been married to you 5 years and I care about you, but in that situation, I'd have been gone, man. There's no way. There's no way. I don't care. I mean, like, how deep is my love was like times 10 this morning, and
Well,
I
they
mean,
might
we
take
know
you away from that big damn hole in the ceiling.
they can't take me through that big hole in the ceiling. So good luck for them and their little broken back. But my point is I really like you. I like the dog almost as much.
And to
but,
clarify, they didn't go through the hole in the ceiling. You just went through the front door. But anyway,
right? So it's where's your little friend? Speaking, how deep is your love?
yeah.
But there's just no way. I mean, and she wasn't like, one time he asked her for something to cook. She didn't want to cook. It just seemed like they had some sort of weird relationship. We watched vlog after vlog after vlog, and he was cooking for himself. It wasn't like she was some obedient wife where she was cooking him up a 5-course meal and doing dishes, and like, he was doing everything for himself. And I get that he was vlogging and maybe he just did it for content, but it was to the appearance that he was taking care of himself, but scared at the same time.
Okay, well, let's.
I mean, it's one thing to order pizza like I do every now and then, but pretty much you get taken care of.
Let me read a couple lines here, and then we'll jump into that real quick. Paulo Chan says that's Ricky playing the piano. I do play the keyboard. I'm not that great. I play enough. John.
Yo, I think I've seen where Second Wind might ask about the music. We use Cakewalk. There's a couple AI software that we use. There's some that automatically make some music, and then we use Cakewalk, and I think it's called FL something, but they're like where you get to add the instruments, ask for a specific sound, and you have to manually go in there. And so there are different. There's a GarageBand that we used to use, which was really a nice one, but we decided a long time ago, if you guys have noticed, we were using Epidemic Sound, and we were paying out $12 a month. We had stopped for about a month and was told to use YouTube Music for YouTube, that it would help our algorithm and everything. And then we went into going back, and they wanted to charge us close to $20 a month for Epidemic. It like went up in price or something. And then we were like, no way, we can just create our own music. So it was better to say, okay, I'm going to use piano today with this and that, this type of, flair in the music and the type of music we wanted. And we just decided. And then, like I said, it still takes talent, because you can still screw that up. And believe me, we've heard some screwed up music from that people have created, but you have to have the, but no, the main ones is the GarageBand and Cakewalk, and I think it's called Florida. I just call it Florida something. I'll have to find it, but we have like 3 of them that we use right now. So
yeah. Pablo San says this music is too good for him. He needs horror pedo music.
Yeah. Well, by the way, that was George's idea on the thumbnail. He said, put him floating in the ocean. I said, dang, man, you got dark. That was your idea on that thumbnail.
I'm always dark. That's the thing.
Because I was like, do you mind?
I never hide that. I'm always
I was like,
dark.
do you mind if I put some splashes of water on the front of it? And he goes, I think you should cut him out of that photo and put him in the ocean. I said, dang, George.
Yeah.
You did, didn't you? I was like, yeah, we thought about some more lyrics. And then I was like, we will place that with a video, not his video, but we'll create a whole nother music video for that, like we did the other channel. I believe it's under Antics House Music. It's really called Antics. Would we end up changing it to Antics Studio or something? Will be the name, because
House Productions, I thought.
We went with Studio instead. So it's a fairly new one. We've made 6 or 7 music videos, and the other ones are really, really good. We're really proud of the music and music videos we put to them, but we'll create one by the end of the day to go with that. It'll probably be mostly ocean stuff, but it's a true story. I'm going to put a couple on the beach.
John Ryder says pedo justice
I'm gonna make a song called "Our Love's Like Tom and Jerry."
is what this is.
Watch. I got me a song. Let me write that down.
Now, again, this is also part of the theories there, and we'll get into that.
Tom and Jerry, funny and so scary.
AAA says it was a planned execution, made it look like a kidnapping.
Dum, 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 dum.
Paul Chicana says, yeah, I guess you're right. Thanks for setting me straight.
Real quick.
Well, Victoria says, this is true. This is true. He didn't heed his own intuition and other warnings to get out.
And he left. See, in the beginning, when we all started this story, like everybody, thousands and thousands of vloggers, it's been all over TikTok. People have made it their entire deal. And I and others didn't realize he'd been in and out of the country. They kept following the news articles. Oh, he's been here for 5 months, then he got married, and then he disappeared. No, it wasn't that cut and dry. Like I said, I just seen that channel with millions of views. That's the way they put it, cut and dry. That, oh, he's only been in the country. No, he had returned, left, went to his sister's wedding, went back, made money, went and saved money after he met her. He come to see the other girl, got scammed, went back, made money, came back, left, came back. I think he did it 3 times. And he knew what he was living in. They even lived in another area in a house and somehow still managed to live in the family home on the water. And he invested all that money. Oh my God. He really, and then I never got the vibe. It could have been any of the above that caused those issues of the bragging about money and all that. I always got the vibe that it was like internal, something to do with something that happened that went dark. I thought it was because of something that, had happened with the sisters. I said whether it was him saying how she was abusing the kids, maybe her brother getting mad about something, maybe an uncle that was in the department or something. I didn't know like where the vibe is, but to me the vibe is they were so mad he got inside of the house. They didn't even wait to get him out there and the first time. You have a theory about what happened on the boat. What I'm saying is they did something to him there as it's almost like they wanted the family to see, good or bad.
No, I don't think they did that part. Not there.
Well, you think it was outside?
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe just took a shirt and maybe the smears was the actual taking part of his clothing back in the house.
Yeah.
There was always a theory that it never started in the house, that it was always outside initially. But, after he went out, but who knows, guys.
John Ryder says another broke bomb that should have never been in the Philippines, should have been in the U.S. learning a trade and making a life for himself.
He was a food delivery driver. In his last 24 hours, he discussed that again about how he was ready to go back and make some money and he liked being independent. So that means he wasn't functioning in society. I hate to say it. If he was really, and there's nothing wrong with being a loner. I did Uber driving for a little bit. It was for extra money and just to get out of the house and all that. Like I was already down in like the Miami area all the time, and I did some driving. And so in other words, it was for extra money. It wasn't like I was super broke. It's just it was nice to break the monotony.
Well, you were already technically retired by then.
No, I already was. I had already.
I mean, it doesn't mean you're disabled. Doesn't mean you can't do anything. You can still work.
Yeah. So, I did a few hours a day, but to have made it my full career or like he was, where it's like, I don't know, he just said how much he liked being like working for himself and nothing, but I still got a vibe that he was doing it because he just wasn't a possible team player. Who knows?
No, I got you. Yeah. That vlog says hello everyone.
Hey,
Kevin Ware from San Antonio. Hey Kevin.
Thank you.
In the house. Let's throw some likes in their way and really support our friends. Thank you so much.
Yes, guys, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel and share this and turn on your notifications. and we do lives a couple days a week, and we have some up and coming vlog misses that we have up and coming. So, and also keep an eye out. There's a couple expat videos like coming out for help and stuff based on Social Security and a few other things. So
Yeah.
keep an eye out for those.
Best
And
vlogs.
our
out
other
there. I love
channels
everything
are
you guys
listed.
are producing. It's amazing.
Our other channels are listed. So we're now putting together a sound channel, which is really good considering we said sound blocking, like for the roosters and sleep and rest and work and all that. So we're working on that. And then we are working, of course, on our music videos. And so those are just for fun. We never intend to monetize on those. They're just really because we have fun doing them. So
Yeah. John Ryder says Philippines need to make more requirements for visas. What he's saying is they need to screen people better, but you know, it depends. It's
and
kind
no,
of
Elliot, or we did not. Of course, we never said we knew Elliot.
Yeah.
So Pablo.
LG says dead topic. He's dead. That's the bottom line. He did this to himself. 25 is not too young. If that's a grown man, he made his choice. It's not a dead topic. You know why? Because it could happen to any of you who decide to step into his shoes.
Yeah, most definitely not. It will be after today. I mean, as far as coverage, but it's something that needs to be covered, something people still are talking about. It is the hottest topic on Facebook and through YouTube and TikTok. Evidently not. So it just seems that way. So LG.
Yeah.
So no, not really. No, and especially beings in the last 24 to 48 hours, they went from a maybe to he is. Police say he is. So we knew that. Everybody knew that. It was just, it's even more of a mystery, on top of the mystery, in my opinion. It's like, okay, so they knew when they gave that food out, they knew all that. They were just looking for the additional suspects. That's all. They hushed him now. But now that there's two major things saying that he is, why isn't the family saying anything? I mean, I guess they don't owe nobody anything, but why? If that was like our offspring, I guess maybe if you were embarrassed of something they did, you would go silent.
Well,
What would be the
you have to remember again, we don't know the parents, like
and grandparents.
and grandparents, and we don't know his sister. We don't know any of their family. This part. I mean, we can only speculate or think about it. If you were them in their shoes, you have, for example, your son go out and marry somebody who's in your head is underage. I mean, what would you do? And then this happens to him. Would you go out in public and claim your son, or would you just keep quiet and just he knew what he was doing? You know what I mean? Wash your hands, kind of deal. You know what I mean? Hugas kamay, as they say here. Yeah, they do use that expression here. Wash your hands. Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I think that's why the family is keeping quiet, because we got that question a lot.
They didn't do nothing about that now, did they?
Yeah, we get questioned like, why isn't the family stepping forward? Why aren't they? Maybe that's why. And also, again, you guys can argue with me all you want, but remember, it doesn't matter what country you're in. Now, I'm talking about specifically in the U.S. because I don't know how the other countries' laws are, but specifically in the U.S. as a United States citizen, the rules follow you. You doesn't mean that you go to a country where you can marry somebody who's under the age, as it were. The rules follow you. Just so you guys know. Now Pablo San says he loved young boys. There's no
Yeah, there's
we didn't see
nothing.
anything, but he does do some weird stuff, but we don't know if he's doing it for the camera or if it's really him. But yeah, it's one of those things.
There are some comments that was left on his page. So his Facebook made it to 7.2 thousand. So he went from probably 1,000 on his Facebook to 7,000 people. Someone said here 2 hours ago he converted and married a local. Yet look what happened. There are lots of beautiful places in the Philippines, like Boracay, Palawan, or Siargao. Wondering why he didn't go. Or someone saying 7 weeks ago they hope he's rescued. Let's see. Top fan. Rest in peace, Elliot. Condolences to the family. May those who are involved rot in jail and suffer. Let's see, 21 hours ago. That's in Tagalog. I can't. 6 weeks ago. Yeah, it's kind of weird. You put the most recent. Somebody actually posted that he is confirmed dead. And that was put out from the Star, I think, yesterday. No, it went from one article to the other. Here's somebody posting again the same article. No whereabouts a week ago. Let's see. Rest in peace. A white man, an American, going to those places is like a lamb inviting himself into the lion's den. What was this guy thinking? Well, that's pretty strong. That's about right. It's it's kind of like
accurate.
it's you should have went to Metro Manila.
That's questionable.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Metro
Somebody.
Manila is a huge place. There's a lot
There's
of
a lot
good
of
places there. There's a lot of really bad places there.
Okay, so only a few mixed in there, even with it in order and stuff, but I don't see anything additional from. I was just checking to see if maybe being she had access to his phone that she had done something. I know it shows his buy me a coffee and all that is active, but that doesn't mean she can cash
Collect,
in,
yeah.
right? Because it's already set up to go in a bank account. So, in other words, I don't think she would have any way unless she knew all that. But no, nothing else
Oh,
has
yeah.
been.
Speaking of bank accounts, guys, just so you guys know, this is in topic but off topic. When you have a wife or something like that, a spouse, and then you're opening a bank account, a joint bank account, like Heidi just said, can she collect this money? No. If her name is not on that account, definitely no access. Now, to make things worse, even if her name is on there, here's for example, pay attention, guys, pay attention, and girls, of course, pay attention in the Philippines. When you create a joint bank account, you must say Heidi or George.
It's like the U.S. It's the same.
Right.
The
So,
and/or thing is the difference.
but if you have Heidi and George, we both have to show up to access that account.
We've already been
So,
dealing with
correct.
that.
So,
Well, I would say
yeah.
that we do have some coming videos dealing with Social Security and all that. We're going to sit down and talk to you guys
well, I
about
said that
as
because
one of our
again, I'm just
actions.
letting you guys know she
She-
can't
yeah,
touch it.
Yeah,
She can't
there's
touch it.
people have already asked about Starlink. I doubt at the $40-50 a month they paid the
Oh,
next
no, they're not
payment
gonna
to keep that
maintain that.
on. So yeah, not at
They can't
20.
maintain it.
Yeah, that's
They can charge people all they want. They can't maintain that.
yeah.
It was unobtainable in the first place. Oh, hey, thank you so much for
Thank you.
20 pounds.
Appreciate
Thank you so
that.
much. I appreciate it so
Everything that
much.
comes in this month, we are going to match and we are going to put it towards Christmas. So we're doing the gift things that we did last year, like we did little packets and we were handing them out. So we'll get that all in footage. We've done it for the last few years. So, but
Yeah.
thank you. We will definitely. So we end up putting together like for the kids and the few carolers that come by, and we'll get them all like on Christmas Eve handing these out. So it's, we put a little bit of money in there. We put candy items that they can use, and then some of the bigger people we do like the food packs like we've always done. So yeah. But thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Now give me $20. I'm gonna.
I
You
guess I
too.
would still make a profit because that's pounds, so that's heavier. It's a better conversion.
Dodo brain.
Victoria says, I looked at quite a few meteors releases, a few of them in the UK. One of them stated he was allegedly shot in some. Yes. Another stated he was shot twice in the leg.
Yeah.
Correct. They have different multiple stories.
Actually,
yeah,
for a while it was just one, and then it started coming through that there were two.
Yeah, but there was only one article that I was actually specific that he got shot in the thigh. which I believe that was the first shot. Yes. Loving person says thousands of teenage Filipinos 15 to 19 years old give birth every year in the Philippines. Fact.
We hear you. Yes,
Many teenage
we hear you.
Filipinas are in serious relationship with a Pinoy, end up in single mother by 18 years old. This is very true.
That is
Very
true.
true.
But the key word is a lot of them are with somebody their own age. It's just not a.
Oh, they're probably turning down that stage.
Oh, it could be.
Yeah.
But it's not usually an 8. It can be. We're not saying that it's not, but there's an 8-9 year difference between him and his wife. And so
Correct.
a lot of these, there is nothing hidden that I haven't said before that I was underage when I married the first time. I've told you guys that before, and that way it's more relatable when they were picking on that vlogger for dating somebody young. It was there was a 2-year difference, and I was 17. Got married a military man. We had to get permission from the military, my mom, the whole 9 yards, and I gave birth at MacDill Air Force Base. So it was there that I can see, but if he would have been 28, 29,
No,
and I was
then
16,
that would be
my
serious.
mom would have never,
Yeah.
No, he was 19.
The Romeo and Juliet clause is there for a reason, guys.
And plus, as an American, the
Yeah.
18 stands anyways, Islamic or not. Here's the thing. I wouldn't be so harsh on the fact if he was really Muslim. At least I took the time when I was married to a Muslim guy to learn things. Okay, I learned about Islam. I went to the mosque. I covered respectively in front of his friends. It doesn't mean I was full blown Islamic, but I did way more than Elliot did. He didn't, you know, none of his stuff ever showed when he was running them long live streams. You could hear the call for prayer. He didn't stop the camera. He sat there. So if he was really he would have actually stopped the camera.
He did the conversion for the marriage. He wasn't
right.
He wasn't into the religion.
Right. So we can't say, so there was still something
And
off.
that's not speculation. That's not speculation. He showed it on camera.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we get you and mentioning that. So for sure, we understand.
G says, so sad.
Yeah, it is sad. And that's why I cried, is whether it's anything that's being said today, discussed or otherwise, he's still somebody's son, and he deserves justice. If he had done something wrong, he didn't deserve for it to happen as local justice on the spot. But something personally happened down there. That's where
we're gonna get into. Yeah. Joseph Relford says Big Brown in Angeles now.
Big Brown. Okay, Joseph.
Yeah.
I get
hey,
you.
Joseph. John Ryder says, you mess with my children, same thing would happen. There you go. LG says 5.5 million tourists per year, according to statistics, but how many of those tourists are foreigners who have no connection to the Philippines? My flights to Manila is usually less than 10% non-Filipino. Mr. Glock says M16s are fully automatic.
Yeah. Usually less than. Yeah, he said non-Filipino, right? So it's mostly Filipino.
Oh, Len says, I can see a book coming out in the future. Maybe the wife will make. No, that's not going to happen. I don't see her doing that.
I think with them being quiet now.
I don't see her doing that. I don't see it in her, put it that way.
One of our other things, and I don't think we have.
No, here's the reason why I don't think it's going to happen is because it's her behavior. The reality is,
I think it would if it truly happened. If it was a true kidnapping for money and it all went wrong as it was perceived in the beginning, then of course she'd probably be writing that book and talking a lot more right now. She'd be boohooing in camera, but I think something shameful happened, and I think that's why she won't, and that's why they haven't.
Well, another thing again is why I don't think is because I don't think it's a personality profile. Meaning, she married Eastman. Okay, fact. Obviously for his money. I mean, let's not beat around the bush here. And then when she married him, guess what? She didn't get what she wanted.
Yes, she wanted to go back to the
Eastman-
U.S. She said that.
Eastman is not what she thought he was.
Yeah, they were
Eastman did
fighting
not
on air. There were
provide
times.
her with what she wanted. Eastman could not provide her with what she wanted. Eastman was not the guy he presented himself to be.
We actually had discussed during the last couple weeks where the parents and grandparents left messages on the sister's account stating, "We'll get your passport, we'll get you here to the United States." But there was a full discussion, that we had, on air about her still being a certain age and what it would take to get her out of the country. We think the grandparents and mother pre-spoke something too soon.
And Eastman couldn't get her out even if she wanted to.
Right.
He
So
has to be able to support her.
So if you watch their
Financially.
live streams, and we did play some of that live stream, they went back and forth talking about, "Oh, you need to vlog more. Why don't you be truthful about what happened to you with the other girl?" And they had a full discussion about their relationship. Are you happy here, living here? And they weren't out there yet. And she said, "No, not really. I want what you have." And she did say that
Correct.
on air. "I want what you have." And so something went wrong because some of the attitude, whether they were in the bedroom sitting down together or outside, was just something dismissive. I got the dismissive vibe. Now, we're not like talking about like dismissive with you. For me and George, I'm going to make that Tom and Jerry love song situation. It's kind of like, I don't know. It's like you scratch my back, I've scratched your back. We've both done things. So, we like when we first started, a lot of people assumed that I was paying for everything. No, you were the one with everything. Still are. You're the one with the job. You're the one with other social media things going on. So people don't know our entire life, but they assume that I'm the sugar mama and that's just the way things are.
Oh, babe, I need a PS5, by the way, for Christmas.
No, you're not getting that, you 2-year-old.
All I want for Christmas is a PS5. A PS5. A PS5.
I'm going to get you an Atari is what you're going to get
All I
from
want
China.
for Christmas is a PS5.
No.
Oh.
You're busy doing your Call of Duty crap or whatever the other op stuff. I don't know, but you're busy doing that. The whole point is that I don't think she got what she was actually expecting. And they were always having
No.
out. And when I say the tit for tat, what I'm saying is there was nothing, like they were not even like officially married for a year. And it looks like they were starving to death, literally. Like he was only eating junk food on air all the time and fish and complaining about the heat. And I just couldn't see it. No way.
Right.
There was no amount of glitter you could have threw on that banana that it would have made me actually, or your Johnson that would have made me stay. I'm sorry, I don't like you that much now. If you made me leave the air conditioning, I'm going to complain at you for the rest of the day. So I just can't see it, man.
Yeah. Now, also, like I said, it's not her personality. One, she actually, you can tell, feel, read, watch her behavior towards him, meaning she really wanted him to take care of her, and therefore that's why you never actually see her even make him coffee. You don't see her, cooking food for him. You don't see her, serving him food. You don't see her walking up to him. "Oh, but baby, you're sweating." Never.
No, every time he asked her for a drink or something, it was
Yeah, correct.
there was really something.
So what I'm saying
she
is
was done already.
there is no drive on that side. So therefore, she cannot write a book. It's not in that. It's not there. It's the mechanism to guys. It's really hard to write a book unless you use AI, which is not writing at all.
I said that if they were all that was so super real and it wasn't the Hollywood thing that they've been feeding people. They've been feeding Elliot Eastman, the up and coming vlogger
Oh my gosh.
in the Philippines that was making a living and
He's not even
learning about.
monetized.
Hold up, that was down there living, showing how life really is, and his brand new wife, and it's like, well, wait
No,
a minute.
they
They
did say this.
they
Yes,
went
on
through all that
articles.
on different news things.
Yeah.
I'm like, did they just say that? But
Did you guys even watch his videos? Like I'm talking about the people
no,
who wrote
there's
them. Like
no, and
you
the
guys
people
do
that
know he just
yap at
fidgets
us.
and shows the ceiling, right?
No, we actually went through
Oh,
all
sorry,
of his
roof,
Facebook
because there is
and
no ceiling.
yeah, so it's Further down, I'm going to answer why we're on the Islamic thing. Snowman says, question to Heidi, is Islam source of evil in the world? Which is a strange question, so I'm not even sure why, I believe religion only exists in your mind. Next. It was meant to control the man.
Okay.
Next.
Okay. Now, again, I'm not taking sides on any particular religion.
Religion is what you put into it
Right.
and take out of it.
It's up to you on how it's used. Again, like, for example, an M16 is actually not a bad object. It's just an object. It's whoever picks it up and use it for... You can weaponize anything, whether it's religion...
Or me.
Or Heidi, an M16, a mug. You can weaponize anything. Your fist.
I'm a good person till you guys say the wrong thing.
It's up to the person to do that. Now, it's not really fair.
There's a lot of good Muslims,
There's a lot of really good Muslims, and I can't attest to that.
Very sweet, yes.
And very honest. Oh my gosh.
Honest, helpful. I'll tell you that now.
It doesn't mean because they
they're
believe in that
Christians
religion
and
that they're bad people.
Everybody.
Correct.
No, I really think it's ridiculous how people have put everything down to the different situations, down to the Muslims. So when was it Timothy McVeigh or some of these others that did the things to the building, and I believe he was Christian? Did that mean that all Christians are bad? Or
correct?
It's all the same thing. I think you just wanted to throw that in there, and we understand. So, two of my husbands were Islamic, so how much of it they practice, I'll be honest, is about the same as you practicing Christianity. The same with her family. They didn't exactly look like they were pushing Islam in that area. They just, half the time she wasn't covered on air, photos. And so it just,
Right.
It is what you put into it and how you, but it's no more, no less the dismissive of how much they were. It just appeared that way.
Correct.
So
it's all into interpretation too. What I'm saying is, if you're in an Islamic world, I'm pretty sure they look the other way at Christians. You know what I'm saying? Because you live in that world, in your eyes, Christians are the bad people. I'm just saying, it's all a matter of perspective. John Ryder again. Normal security men now don't own M16. No. Well, that's the thing. What I'm saying is, an M16 is highly distributed. Even lesser, not even real military forces have it, aka security guards, which they're really, no offense to security guards, but I mean, rent-a-cops. I mean, if they can get a hold of an M16, that means that everybody can. They're not as exclusive as they used to be. The regular armed forces use M4s. We're not that backwater in the Philippines, guys. We have M4s here. You know what I'm saying? And M16s are...
yeah, please.
But anyway, yeah, Ted says something kept him there. Yep, definitely. John Ryder says he could have gotten a minor in any... Oh, damn. In any Philippine city. Well, that's the point. I guess that makes sense. It doesn't have to be in a red zone to do that. LG says young booty is everywhere in the Philippines. Why choose a different religion and stay in a dangerous area? He's not very bright. Also,
there had to be something
the
else,
wife was
guys.
16 years old. He actually broke the law.
Yeah. That's pretty much the fact. Something else had to be. I'm sorry, like I said, it couldn't have just been he was so madly in love that there had to be something else.
He could be truly in love. He could be, yeah.
There had to be something else that drew him there. He was warned. What man besides you, they would think, that would be controlled that much to be told, you can't control this dude. Hold up, wait a minute. Let me get to a point that a lot of people think that I'm running you all over the place or that there's full control. What it is still, it's not that way. But when I see Elliot, it reminds me of how people think you're controlled. Imagine being told by a minor, somebody way younger than him by 8 years, and that is young enough, being told, you can't go out by that beach. It's too late at night. Get in here. She was already nagging him. She was constantly saying, no, you can't go. You can't this. You can't that. There instantly had to be some sort of side hate for that situation. He was always saying, you won't let me go anywhere. Why can't I go? like she was
He
his
knew the
mother.
answer to that question, though.
So the whole thing is the whole time, imagine being told that you can't go here, or you had to wait for little misses. A young 17-year-old girl at that time, or 16, telling you can't go somewhere? No way, no sir, no ham, no way, no freaking way. If George told me I couldn't even do this, I'm gonna laugh. The same with you. If I tell George, don't you dare play that game, make sure you do this and that. Do you realize I have to tell him that 10 times? And he's going to do what he wants. You're your own person, but some people you can control and some people you can't, or you can say things. But imagine that. Imagine being constantly told, no, you can't go here, like the fishing trip that night. Told him about that fishing trip. No, you can't go. Well, I know I'm going to have to be secretive and I can't do this and that. Well, what happened to that fishing trip? And how come the brother? Oh, who knows? The whole point is that she was controlling him the whole time, telling him the family told him. And you know how many times if I had $10 for every time somebody said that the family was holding him at that house, literally, we could buy a new car probably.
Yeah, probably.
It's serious
That's one
how
of
many
those, like,
people said there was
If I
something
had the
serious.
nickel, if I got a nickel
If I
for
had a
every time
dime
somebody said
every
that, yeah.
time, or
Yeah.
a peso, a lot of people said that it just didn't look apparent. It was actually being said that he was not allowed. And I'm sorry, you can't be that much in love to be told you can't do this and that. He's not like a 18-year-old boy alongside her, and that would probably be even harder to control somebody young being told no, but I just can't see it. Like there had to be something else. It's like maybe he was already guilty of something. Maybe he listened because he knew they had something over his head. I'm going to go into all kinds of speculation at this point. There's something, guys.
Yeah, and you guys are welcome to speculate too. Ted says, hello, everyone. They knew he was leaving and wanted to do it. There you go. Ralph, hi, good morning from Zamboanga City.
His dad, check it out. Could you imagine his dad in the other room, babe, watching his live streams, like laying on his bed and said, oh, that boy messed up again. I mean, could you imagine him watching the live? What he's, where's my flip flop, man? What that boy say? What'd he say about my, because he was always saying something about something. Could you imagine the dad or the family watching him from just another part of the house? No. Kind of strange. Yeah. Some of the stuff that he said, they were probably holding all that stuff in.
LG says the saga's over. We'll never know what happened.
No, John said they would sweep it under the carpet all at once. Yeah. Yep, you got that right, LG.
John Ryder, Dodge City. John Ryder says, when you're in danger, get the hell out of Dodge. There you go, Dodge City. Man, that's a good movie or book, depending on how you know about, Victoria says, I personally think Elliot was also scared to leave the area for reasons whoever would also be on the roads too, due to numerous threats. But why not inform the embassy? Well, the embassy is not going to help you, be honest with you. They're not. They're not going to send a military escort or anything like that. So.
No, and he returned. I mean, he had been there.
Well, that's another thing too.
He'd been in and out of the country. Oh, and here's another thing. If you guys remember, it's kind of hard to say go watch all of our lives, but there was a point when you mentioned that according to the local police, he was already told. And I asked George, I said, what, were they at a checkpoint and told him that? And that's when we had another vlogger say, oh, she evidently hasn't been there. No, was it? Was it at some checkpoint on the way down there? But the police said, we told him. So it was the family, her family, and he already knew. And now they came forward after he was gone and said, they said that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Loving person says the age of consent in the Philippines is 16. Most teenage pregnancies are with a male class. Exactly. They have to be within 3 years apart. If they're past the 3 years, then they can go into statutory R. Yes.
Is the I mean, we've been through the age of consent. Is it as a Filipino 16? Was that raised? Okay, I just have to ask, but not for foreigners.
No, it's 18 for all well, the U.S.
Because
anyway.
he didn't say that. He said the age of consent is 16. So
Yeah, no, I know that, but I'm just saying again. Remember, if you're an expat, it's 18. Okay, I don't care.
Right.
If
So
you're
we
an
have to
expat, it's
state that because
18.
we've had a whole. This went on and on and on about
The 16
ages.
it only goes within 3 years. There's a limit to it. Anyway,
Yeah, with being a Filipino, yeah.
regardless of Filipino, most likely end up like a single mom, putting up a huge financial burden on her family because the family
Yeah.
will do take care of them.
Yes.
Mr. Glock 29 says he was slow for sure. Dang.
Yeah, we understand LG. I wouldn't call it creepy. I mean, I think,
Right.
so that's
Viv-
understandable.
Vivian Gibbons says he moved it to a tribal society, was warned to leave. Well, that's another thing. We believe he was warned, yes. But he kept returning. They saw no other way than to be forced to do it. If someone wants to take you, they will not give you multiple warnings. He's had warnings where it scare him away, a classic being chased out of the village, but he kept returning. No, that's again very, very highly possible. Because, like I said, for some strange reason, that day he knew. He knew his behavior that day was not his other days. Because you can go to his channel, watch him if you can sit there and bear it. But point being is that day was a completely different day.
I'll read Sarah. She's further down. It says she delved pretty deep into. I didn't see any pedo behavior. That boy was his nephew or his brother-in-law. The little girl was looking for attention from the camera. Everything he came out, she was following. Well, there were multiples. That's his TikToks, his Facebook. You would have to look at the whole thing, and then overall, he did evidently prefer them younger. So,
Well, let's say again, I'm not arguing with anybody, but let's say it was completely all innocent, everything. He was still with he still married an underage girl.
yeah, and started dating her when she was around 16. So,
Correct. If even that, I mean, 16 is graduating.
yeah, so she might even. It's hard saying, but no, it's
At 16 in the Philippines, you're graduating high school. She hasn't graduated when he married her.
Yeah,
So-
but overall, something was odd about him, and he did get his live streams taken for allowing the minors with his camera and
Right.
them being on his camera. And it wasn't the only time he was caught hanging with the kids, and the kids were always, which there are kids always around, and we've warned expats about picking him up, taking him to the mall, and doing things out of kindness because it could always turn quickly on you. So,
No, it could turn on you, even though it's not completely innocent. Again, like I said.
there's just something extremely odd.
Engelbert Sal says I could not blame the relatives not be able to protect them. Of course, no, they can't.
And that would actually, I guess it's part of the thing to say it's easier for people to say that and blame it on the bad guys down there. That it's the simplest thing is to say it was a kidnapping gone bad and drink the Kool-Aid of the government and what they're putting out there because that's what they're saying. Is basically it had something to do with, but they still can't say situation. But the fact the family has just been stone cold and there's something deeper going on. So,
Also, he should have not disregarded the multiple times he was warned, and for him not to act on it, no one is really to blame but himself.
yeah.
Hey,
Victor.
David Z taken away in a boat. Now the question is, did he?
Oh, Sarah said Elliot wanted to build the kids a playground. So, yeah.
Hey, Victor, how you doing? Victor C, hi there, Georgia. What?
He
really
did.
said that?
Yeah. Which?
Yeah, I guess he has no clue how much it takes to create a playground.
Yeah.
He doesn't have millions of pesos.
Yeah. No, he wanted to help.
No, I get it.
But those are the biggest behaviors. It's psychological profile of a
Yeah, there's a little off.
yeah, is the
Hmm.
if you think about it. I mean, I'm just being honest. That's just me not trying to put them into a box. I'm saying that would be the behavior. They do buy gifts. I had discussed that's what they do. They lure them with candy, gifts, buying them things, taking them places they want to, super friendly, all the above, just being extra nice. That's how it's, matter of fact, the best of the best. So,
Sweet Magic Poison. This is the first time I've heard of this one. What can you say about the Black Widow theory? I don't see it. Now, Black Widow theory meaning, she
had something to do with it.
yeah,
Why? Well, we that was the very first theory.
right.
Is
Well,
that there was something, yeah, that they were just
and then
done
she
with
would,
them
and then she would move on to the next one. Um, it's
because he was out of money. You had said that you
Mhm.
said it's possible he was out of money, and that
oh no, it's not. He is out of money. Yeah.
yeah, and they were fighting, and
Mhm.
we said that they were mentioning about the items and that the sister hitting on the kids, and he said a lot of things in the last few days before this all went down.
Now,
So that's possible.
is it possible? Yes. Is it unlikely? I personally believe it's unlikely because of how things panned out. If it panned out differently, something more simple, because it's simple but complicated at the same time. For instance,
Well, they could have just done it themselves and just rolled them out for fish food immediately. I mean, why bring
correct.
somebody
Just
in with that full story to
correct.
get
All right. Thank you.
popular,
That's where I was getting
to
at.
build his
All they had
channel
to
so they can get a
do,
whole
if it
$20?
was a Black Widow theory, all they had to do was basically, hey, you want to go fishing with my brother?
Yeah, because there
Gone,
was a yep,
gone.
yep. Nobody had even known, just her brother. The guilt. That's all that would have known was the guilt
Right.
situation.
That's what I'm saying.
And they could
The
have
way it
made
panned out, I don't think that's what happened.
they could have had Elliot Lechone. I mean, that could have been
Right. So
anything.
again, and I mean that's another thing. Like I said, when I say complicated, for instance, there's a
Ooh,
lot of things.
Sarah, look at her. Look at that.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that don't make sense in the stories because one, you have to question. I don't know Carisha, or the family, but apparently they have like ultravision. They could see in the dark like cats and see color in the dark like cats. It's very weird because they identified the boat color in the dark. That's impossible, right?
That far away too, because it was there but not up close. So that's even
Now, with that being said, guys,
that's
you
true.
don't have to believe me. Go out in a dock where there's no lights at all
And
and
there's no lights
and
there.
determine color. You can assume it's white.
And they even mentioned that the light had been shot out or
Right,
something.
there's no light.
So
They
there
even
was
said there's no light.
The one solar light or
The
two they
only
had
light
out
they
there is
had
gone.
is gone. Right. So
Yeah,
again,
they were able
somehow
to say
they can still identify color in the dark. Second, did he really go out on a boat? Because there is the story where they put him on a vehicle and took him on a route on the road. And guess what? You know where that route leads
But
to?
I assume they meant motorized
Right.
motor. But they
Right.
did say it
They-
was a motor vehicle.
Waiting by the road. I mean, I'm pretty sure both of them sit on the road. Now, what I'm getting at is the funny thing about that part of the story, which a lot of people dismiss or wasn't aware, there's the route of that vehicle actually is very close to
Where
alleged body was found.
the one that looked like the white guy that everybody
Correct.
same route.
Yeah, it's if you follow that route, it's like, wait a minute, that's actually really close to where that body was found. Well, not really close, but it'd be more logical. It's like, oh wait, that's a straight line.
And I think we're the only ones that have really dove into this, just like we did the where they turned around and said something about the American that got shot in the club. People only covered what was in the newspaper and didn't look at anything else in the guy's life. We had the sister on the hook. We had people from the club that night with proof they were in the club and actual footage of him in there, and turned out he was in there having a good time and was nice. There was no confrontation, so it really was just the jealousy thing that went south when that all went down. But like us deep diving and delving into this, same situation. The family saying they could
Yeah.
see the color of the boat in the dark and
And then
all
there's
kinds of things. Guys.
Remember when I said visibility is a key? You have to realize. See, the weird thing about this story is they were fixated on the boat thing, right?
Yeah, they were.
And then all of a sudden, there's this mysterious story that he was taken by a vehicle. Okay.
Witness
Okay.
of one of the people that
Now-
were involved. Or they said they could tell you the story from the beginning to the end, which included a motor vehicle.
Now, this part is the speculation part, but it will make sense to you guys. During that night or that day, he wanted to go on a fishing trip, which they were going to take him. Now, here's the problem. He broadcasted this. And you're like, well, why is that a problem? Because is it possible they were going to take him on a fishing trip? Wink, wink. But then
Yeah.
since he broadcasted it, they can't pull that plan anymore. So they have to change the plan and go to a land route.
Ooh.
You get it? Because he even showed the boat. He even showed the fishes. We showed you the clip.
Yeah, that was the same. That was the same day. And
Correct.
all that in that
He was
24
supposed
hour
to go
thing.
on a fishing trip. But
And
since
I
he
didn't find that
broadcasted
to
it,
be creepy now that I think about LG. No, that's just deep delving, showing what he literally did. Everybody else has been covering things from A to,
so again,
A here and this there.
since he broadcasted this, they probably like, you know what, it's probably not a good idea. Now, I'm not saying that the family's involved. It's possible they're involved without knowing it. What I'm saying is, are they aware something's going to happen? Probably. One of those, maybe they're going to do something. Maybe they are going to do something, not them.
I'm surprised we got this much this soon. I figured it'd be around the first of the year. But being tourism is dying down there, Sarah did mention, she said, isn't it funny, real quick, she just said that, let me see if I can find it. She said they just had a meeting with tourism like 2 days ago. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Yeah.
She said, how do we know Carisha's brother wasn't her husband? Because she had several brothers that were around. We told you all about that stuff. How do we know any of those guys weren't even her boyfriend? Remember, as we're to understand, there was an Islamic marriage. They were practicing for it, or that was the actual video. A lot were like, oh, no, we seen him in clothes the next day. That could have just been posing for photos with the dad for just saying they had it. But there's no proof that they went down. In order for this to happen at her age, okay, because she definitely was under 18 when this all happened, they would have had to go to the courts to get all the permissions and do everything. All of it would have had to been legally been filed, and they all would have had to go in and get all of that.
Now, the reason why I believe that it never happened, again, this speculation. However, the reason why I truly believe it didn't happen, they really didn't get married legally, is because of his personality profile. He's the kind of guy who will show you everything. AKA, he showed some illegal stuff on video and on YouTube.
Oh, Mark said books are hard. LOL. He goes, I wrote 4 of them. So much work over a year. Yeah, that's another thing.
No,
I don't think they'd have been
she
able.
can't do that. But
No,
again,
Mark.
like I said, Elliot showed everything on camera. If he actually did legally get married, he would have shown the paperwork, because that's his personality. He can't help himself. Look at my papers. I'm married. Look. Again, there's something wrong
he
with
would have
that.
done it for
But
the
he would have done it.
ever. But
He would have done it.
He did show where they did a little ceremony, and the rings were put on their fingers. And again, because of the way the photos were later, it was always assumed that it was done later. And it's a possibility that was a practice wedding, and we know that that was gone through. But yeah, so much, guys.
Yeah, David Z says, but it was only when a second suspect said the same thing 2 weeks later that the information was released that he has passed.
David says you could see the photos where there was a lot of blood in the bedroom. Yeah, but that could have been brought in. That's another thing. The story once. Let me check something. Can you? Let me see something. I'm going to see if I can find. I was going to try to find where she appeared on. Here, 1 second here. 1 second, guys.
Well,
We're just trying to see if we've got some additional photos for. You can talk at the same time. Yeah, it's hard. Why don't you give me your theory about the possibility if it was in the boat thing?
well, I don't even know if I really should, only because of you. I thought about it a lot. There's actually a very solid theory that I have that actually involves the law here in the Philippines, and unfortunately, I do have an expat wife. If I didn't have an expat wife, I'd be more inclined to tell it.
Oh, you think? No, there is still a level.
Because it involves certain laws here in the Philippines. There are laws that, bottom line,
Yeah,
Jesus.
I don't.
But okay, now again, now as far as the theory is concerned, okay, again, did they take him by force? Yes. Was the family aware they're going to take him? I believe so, and I believe he was aware he was going to get taken. Because again, the last day he was basically flipping out. He knew something's going to happen. Now, did they actually, shoot him in the thigh? Probably yes. I mean, odds are. And then they drag him out. I don't think they shot him while he was running. I think they shot him and then dragged him. Okay. Next would be again, was there a boat? I questioned the boat a lot because again, one, somehow these people have magic eyes and they could see color in the dark.
Am I allowed to bring that down or no?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, just don't close it.
I'm just gonna leave it. I don't think it's there. I'd have to go into the drive to
Yeah.
find it. But
So again, there's a witness that says that they took him on a vehicle by the road, which again, I'm highly doubts a boat by the road, if that makes any sense. And again, they actually plotted the route of this vehicle, and the the route of the vehicle leads closer to the body of that was found floating around. And remember that it's no really it's in that relative area. You're like, huh,
hey,
that's
Bruce.
that's odd, but it makes sense. So, do I think they took him by the boat? No. Next, after they dragged him, what did they do with him? Honestly, probably took him to the woods, make him kneel, and then pop him in the back of the head. Now, what? Why do you think I say that? Not in the stomach, in the back of the head. One, it's an excuse. I believe again. This is speculation. This is speculation, guys. They pop in the back of the head, and with such a high-powered caliber rifle, it would exit
Well, we
clean.
never said they found. Oh, because we said that was possibly him on the beach. Mr. Z in here says that's wild speculation that if they'd have found the body and that was him, they'd have gave it or said something or did
Not
something.
necessarily, because they hit it this long. But
Yeah,
like
he
I
had
said,
everything else.
if they popped him in the back of the head, it would literally mess up his frontal face.
When he was on the boat, yeah.
Well, not necessarily. I don't think again there's a boat, but so they throw him over the boat. Well, I mean, I think they popped him in the woods, dragged his body, then dumped his body in the ocean,
Oh, hey, puppy.
and then he floated back in. But again, that's speculation. Now I get it. Again, some of you will disagree with it, which is fine. Again, not everybody knows, but there's certain laws here.
And I don't think they could hide that. So even if it was discovered and they paid attention to that, I still think they would have hit all of that.
Right. Now, some of you mentioned veto justice. Again, whether it's actually for that reason or not, there is what we would call mob justice here. Justice does exist in the Philippines, meaning the law can be taken most of the time in the people's hands. Whether it's, as some of you again speculate, whether it's, the locals, whether it's the barangay, whether it's the police, whether it's the government, whether anything like that, you don't know. But there is mob justice here, and I actually told Heidi that. I said, you screw around with the wrong girl, literally, and then leave her. Depending on who that girl's connected with, you may not walk out alive.
Yeah.
Fact. Same thing here. I don't know what he did, but I believe this is the case, that people took matters into their own hands and then just got rid of the problem in their eyes. I'm not saying he's a problem. I'm saying in their eyes, if you're causing problems in our community, we're gonna get rid of you. As some of you said, he was warned to leave, but he didn't.
Warned to leave. He knew.
No, he
Even
knew.
even
He
the
knew.
police did. They said we told him.
No, he knew. He was warned.
And he knew. He kept saying people are after me. People keep threatening me. He over and over again weeks before this happened, and then the consistent stream. So that's all I gotta say about that.
Sterling Dash says, so it was because of the skin, abducted him and thought he was rich. Should I worry because I'm not white when I was in the Philippines and didn't target me? It seems I thought, well,
Yeah, they're probably not. Don't worry
yeah.
about it.
Okay, now
Okay,
Mr.
go.
Glock, again, I get what you're saying. The laws really don't follow us. Keyword, they really don't, but you're still required to adhere to them. Because other
Oh,
countries have their
yeah.
own laws. I went to Mexico at 17. Was like, of course you can.
Yeah, that's
Okay, now to clarify on the laws. Okay, now
yeah, the drinking thing is one.
there's
thing.
a lot of laws that a lot of countries do not enforce. This is one of them because
Yeah.
it's one of those we really don't want to get involved. But if you're out of control, then they'll use it against you. One of those kind of deals. And guys, again, I don't write the laws. Look it up. It's really not that hard. But anyway,
No, I
Angelo
agree.
says, blame the woman. I wanted a dog for Christmas.
Vivian says a Filipino's body doesn't turn Caucasian in water. And yes, she will get some paleness. It does turn light. And says he was chased out of the village, but he kept returning, following
Yeah.
Western mentality. No one could stop him. Yeah, we know that the bodies can. We've seen Filipinos that were extremely white, but you could still see the bottom of their feet were brown. You could see it. I've seen, bodies from all over the world in oceans, and they were not that pale. So, but that's what made people believe there was something off because you could still see by their hands, everything. There was some color. There was no color.
They really
So,
don't change that much.
they
I
do.
mean,
There were some extreme ones that came up. There have been several bodies that came up throughout the Zamboanga area. They said because of a storm and some fishermen, and they showed them. And well, come here. What are you upset about? Come here.
Thaddeus says nowadays religion is a bring your own God church is shame on humanity. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Don't bring religion into it because it's just my God, his God, their God, that kind of deal. It's not the religion, it's the person. You know what I mean? Victor C. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Victor.
What's
Appreciate
wrong?
your support.
She's
Hit the like
acting
button,
weird.
folks.
Thank you,
Makes
Victor.
Heidi happy. Always me says Rip Elliot. There you go.
It's weird. She's trying to get on the other side of the cage.
Anyone know backstory before I start posting about the Philippines? I can't find a backstory. Well, where do you live again? I forgot where you lived again. Liberia?
Him? Vermont, babe. He went to Liberia
Yeah,
for
that's
his
what I
sister's
said.
wedding.
Yeah.
No, we did. All that's in our videos. You would have
Yeah.
to go look at it's everywhere. Check his Facebook. As far as anything prior, it looks like a bunch of stuff was deleted because he has hardly any social media before her. Maybe she had him delete that. But his Facebook shows him in Vermont, shows him at his grandparents' and mother's house, shows him starting her car. Vermont. He was a food delivery driver. It says he was he worked for several of the companies. And I know I'd seen where he had done some music, where he had some sort of Spotify account that he had done some music. That's about what's known about him. Here's another thing that was discovered, and we heard on and off that he was. And at one point, we were told we were crazy. He was ex-military. So it doesn't mean he served a long time, but he was still considered a Marine because he was in the Marines. A lot of people didn't even know about that, and we were told, "Oh, no way!" And I said, "No, look at his video. He was doing reaction videos to military stuff." And I said, "I bet he was in the military." And he was, but he did not complete, as we're to understand, his basic training.
Yeah, he
But that would still, according to Marines, still say he's a Marine.
he
So we
flunked
have
basic
to.
training.
All right, so we have to say that part of it. So we know he did that. We know he wanted to be an independent contractor. He said that that's what he wanted to do. But basically, his deal was he was going to make money at vlogging and keep going back and forth to bring money, which he did. And he definitely had a bad relationship with another Filipina, but then he jumped right into a relationship with her. Besides that, no, we don't know. Nobody. We are probably the only channel that has dove this deep without just following one article after another, because we painfully sat through his vlogs. Like the first videos that I did, I was raw about. I was like, he's a horrible vlogger. That's not a vlogger. Like, he had no numbers when he started.
Again,
he only got numbers because of what happened.
Not judging him. It's just he just stands there and fidgets, and that's it.
Yeah. So he had done some things on and off with his camera when he was in Liberia. He made comments about people in Liberia when he was over there, how poor and that they were dealers and look how nasty this is. And so even then he was still raw, not doing anything. He said, I'm going to make my money as a YouTuber. So that's about all we know, is that he's from Vermont.
Which is the common dream of a lot of kids nowadays.
Right. So, and there was a mystery around her. And there's no mystery now that she was definitely underage when they met. So he evidently, fell in love hard.
David says Elliot has predicted his own demise for the past year.
That was the weirdest thing.
Longer than actually. George is right. The only thing weird is he did not do anything about it.
And he returned. If the whole story went like the newspaper said, that he just went and he's only been here for 5 or 6 months and he just stayed there and then was warned. No, this has been going on. He even lived somewhere else. He was living up in what he would call the mountain in another apartment when he was on a couple months before that.
He lived in Zamboanga City, actually, I thought. He
lived with her somewhere else at some point. What possessed them all to move into the family house with all those kids and family members? And yeah. And so he was living there.
His money was dwindling.
Yeah, he said he was broke. He said he was ready to go home. He said he missed his family. So much was going on. So I don't understand why he left, came back at least 3 times. He left and knew these warnings, and he's seen how bad it was, still was having family problems. And then he said, he goes, I put all my money into this, but I may still have to leave anyways. I have to leave. That was in the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
So that's what I said. What if the dad was like, did that boy just say that? Oh, heck no, he's not leaving. I could only imagine.
That's also another side of the coin that people are saying. Maybe he was trying to leave and they're like, he ain't leaving out of here.
Yep.
Again, that's
in there. Yeah. These are, if you watch that documentary thing we did, watch and listen to those clips, he said that he was ready to leave. He had to go, he had to leave. It's so eerie, but it's for those that are, it's just one of those strange mysteries. Strange, but not strange. Not with all the accusations and...
Yeah. The most interesting early video is when he was talking to his grandmother. He tells her about how cheap rent and housing prices, which are all wrong, by the way.
Yes.
And his plans for the future.
Yeah, he said something about you can live on $100 a month. Yeah, 5,000 pesos you can live
Obviously
there,
not.
And then $50 worth of food. Yeah,
he was
if you eat
flopping
ramen
like a
noodles.
fish. I mean, if you watch his videos, he really was struggling. He was struggling.
Yeah, so no, we've seen those. Yeah. We've seen all of those. We were just trying to capture in that one his last 24 hours.
Yeah. When he tells her about how dangerous it is in the area, she tells him, well, isn't it just a matter of time, isn't it? Chilling. He was shot on the spot at the house because he tried to escape.
I don't think it was that simple, man. Everybody really needs to think about that. You think they just... if it was for ransom or other things, which was where the if everything we're saying on the other end is not true and it was just for, why would they do that to him in the house? Because he was trying to get away in front of the family. They did that. No, what's being said is that it was done outside and they set that up inside. That was all a setup in the house, but who knows?
Yeah. David Z also says, if you listen to his videos, He was informed by the police. Yes,
Mhm.
it was informed by the police that it was dangerous more than a year ago. They did warn him. That is why they told him he could not fish alone, and why he bribed one of the officers. There you go. Victoria says, would she be telling him that because of the threats they were given for, or whenever from whoever?
Mm.
Probably. I mean, remember, the locals know more than you do, so we better heed the locals. If the locals say you better not go outside, something might happen. You might want to do that.
No, I'm just not. We went through that because different time frames were given, and we have photos in one of our live streams where it shows time of when it was like at 11 something, and there's so many different things. Like it looked like we heard in the beginning there were photos. They had not been released to everybody. We finally got a hold of a set of them, and that was a lot of. Um, they were like, "Oh, he had to bleed out." And we were like, "Okay, he's definitely dead." After seeing those photos, and then it came into speculation about how much, or was it even? Did it even really even happen in the house? Because there was a bunch outside too, and I don't know, guys.
Yeah. David C says the bottle of whiskey is to take fishing. It doesn't sound like that fishing trip ever. No, it didn't happen. However, he does talks about the danger a lot in the videos in February.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he'd been talking for a while for sure.
Yeah. David Z is arguing with somebody in the chat. Hold on. They keep going about. We're not. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot, but they could have brought that in there too. But the whole point is that had to be anger that caused that. You're just not going to randomly pop off and actually even I don't know, I just don't see it. That's anger. That's not something gone wrong. Oh, he slipped away. I had to pew pew him there on the spot. No. That's somebody that really wanted
Somebody
to. That's
came
a
up
passion
with
thing.
an intention to actually hurt him already, not subdue him. There's a difference between subdual
And he
and
was
hurting
trying to
him.
escape. No, he had
Yeah.
nowhere to go. It pretty much he would have just. And that night he said he was sleeping by himself. She already said she wasn't going to be sleeping with him at night. So he went to bed alone. He was in that room alone when this happened. What?
Okay. Thaddeus says recruiting by parents is the norm for province girls here going on for years. Now, to be fair, it's not necessarily province girls. If you really want to get a girl, you have to get if you get the parents, it makes it a lot easier to get the girl. I'm just letting you guys right now. That's how it works here. You know,
Hey, how about a kiss?
like you have to kind of like
What's
court
with
the
your
parents
eyes?
too,
Right.
and then once
What's
they're in your
wrong?
favor, then you turn
You
to the
cold?
girl, that kind of deal.
Mhm.
Because and they'll help you out. They'll
What?
soften up the girl, even if she's kind of like, he's too old. They'll soften her up. Oh, well, you know what? You know what? Um, let's call her girly only because you know what, girly. He may be old, but he can take care of you. He probably don't have to work anymore. No, I'm just saying, and that's what Thaddeus is talking about.
No, I know
Um,
where your mouth's been. I know where your mouth's been. Are you cold? Huh? Are you cold?
David Lee says to answer your question, yes, he was taken away by a boat. I was just responding to your conspiracy theories that he
Gotcha.
wasn't taken away about. Of course he was. Um,
Will you say hi? You look funny with your new haircut. Yeah, because you got some of the hair away from your face.
David Lee. It was easy to identify the boat color. There was a witness that saw the kidnappers with the boat well before the kidnapping. They did not show up 5 minutes before.
So, in other words, he's saying that they rolled up on shore and we were already seen.
Prior to,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. Well, then that would make sense.
Saratan says he couldn't go fishing because he had to be home to be kidnapped.
Well, I think the fishing trip was either later on that night or it was supposed to be the next day. So, but no, that makes sense. Yeah, he had to be home for that. What? How could you still manage to have your?
A living person says, if a teen or adult Filipina gets pregnant and the guy runs away, leaving Filipino with a single mom, what difference does it matter what age the guy is? Still face the same. No,
That's
I
true.
get your point. In the end, it's the same, but the point is, it's being actually it's supporting what you're saying, because the point is these men are old enough to know better, not to abandon the girl. You know what I'm
And
saying?
he had an opportunity. He chose to come all the way here to actually date and marry officially this girl. He moved his whole life and uprooted and put all that money into it for when he had an opportunity. I just don't get it. Matter of fact, a lot of people said they didn't get it. I mean, do whatever, but you guys have seen his wife. Draw your own conclusion. How many people said he's with the wrong sister? And it's just like a lot of things. I just don't get it. It's there's a lot of things. She wasn't even if she had those looks and you had to put it on a scale. Let's put it on a scale. Then she'd have had to make up for it somewhere else. Like you said about me, I cook, I clean, I bring you your food. I'm funny sometimes. I can entertain. I can be a club bouncer if somebody tries to attack. His whole point is I got mad skills. That girl just had nothing but nagging him to death is all I heard. All I heard her do was complain or say things or whine about it. That's all I'm saying. It's there. What I'm saying is the girl would have had to have mad skills, and I don't think she was sitting there cooking up, barbecue ribs or something.
Yeah. David Z, just real quick. Again,
yeah, that's
I
where
skipped a lot of your stuff, of course. We actually Heidi read it and we already talked about it just a second ago. But are you in the Philippines, and where? I'm just asking.
yeah, you're wondering.
The reason why I can't say it out loud, not because I am with an expat wife, but I'll tell Heidi real quick. Um okay, again,
Okay.
I said something that honestly can't be made public, but now Heidi kind of now in her head
I'll send it to my moderator.
the pieces are coming together.
Now it's coming together. Yes.
Right.
Let's just say
But
there
I
are
can't say
certain
it
laws
because I
and
do have
rules
an
here.
expat wife to protect.
There are rules here in the Philippines that can actually just do anybody in at any time. In other words, as I said, it's a third world country. And bite me that I keep calling it that.
Country.
It's a developing country.
That's
They're
right.
evidently
damn straight.
Well, don't you have to be developing for it to be called that?
I've been trying.
You ain't developing nothing. Put it down. Just because it's Christmas time. Whole point is it's a developing country and things happen. Are you prepared to stand your ground for things happening? It's not for everybody. I'm sorry. People say that,
No,
they are.
Chosen One said Philippines is an advanced country. Angelo says, girl probably already had a husband, which is very possible. Very possible. Yeah, and that's what if I'm skipping your thing, because like for example,
we're not going to
Vivian
put every.
mentioned,
Sorry,
we already talked about it, so I'm just saying, yeah, and that too. Okay. David Z says again he's been talking about the fishing trip for more than a year. Then if you're talking about a fishing trip for over a year, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Watch this video. Says Not likely they had suddenly changed the plan because he mentioned fishing trip. My goodness.
Yeah, I would.
Well, no, I mean they're
The
really
boat
trying
isn't
to.
coming from the family. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think he's talking with other people. Yeah. Australia, there's commonly used saying, "Nah, she'll be right, mate," meaning I think I'm going to be fine or will be fine. Everything will be fine. So maybe Elliot thought, yeah, well, no. I mean, we told you even me and George have our days. You're going to work through everything. You know, everybody has their limits to this, and that. And that might have been one, yeah, don't worry, be happy. And he seemed to be pushing that envelope because I just can't see it. I don't want to, George, I told you there's like where I've been talking lately. It's like I told George, I was like, I complain about being here and I can have anything delivered, groceries, anything. We've got halfway decent internet and I'm still complaining. I couldn't imagine being out there with spotty internet, no real
Actually,
air
this
conditioning
is
at that
really good
house,
internet.
no
Just so you
real
know,
water. The whole
we have
point
really
is
good internet.
is I'm complaining or have been complaining. I mean, I'm adjusting and realizing it's paradise now, but it's the whole thing is that it to me that was if I had to put my life right now on a scale, I'm going to say I'm at a 6-7 on happiness. Okay. And after this morning, I'm going to drop it down to a 5. Thank you, George, for your time. And no, not going to respond to that. No dang, no nothing.
No.
All right. So I put it back at an 8 because of this morning. But if I was out there, you'd have had me at a 1.5. That reminds me of that
Oh, I wouldn't dare take anybody there.
Black Mirror. Listen, no, I'm talking about living the way he was. I'd have
That's why I said.
There was this I just watched this Black Mirror episode where everybody was social media and they had to score each other. And if you didn't have a score of a 4.2, 4.7 or something out of a 5, you didn't even get into apartment complexes and people could see like if you dropped to a 2 or 3, you turned red to people or something. It was weird. And so it was everything based on social and so it's like 1.2, 1.5 out there. It just that would have been crazy. I just there's nobody. I can't even think about the celebrity people I hung out with. And you can be doubters all you want. There were celebrities that I hung out with, and I still wouldn't have done that to ever where at one point I wanted to meet them and then met them. No, I take all no, none of them. There's not one person. I wouldn't even do that for my kids. If my kids and grandkids were out there and that's all there was, see ya. I'd have started a new family in Ecuador.
Well, okay.
You could see that.
Unless you're
See ya.
living in a cold climate, which in the Philippines it's not.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to go to Baguio and then it was slightly dangerous, I'd be like, because I'm not really worried about the danger either going to get me or not. It was the whole life out there, the whole style.
That's what I'm saying. Forget the danger.
Yeah.
Guys, again, I always explicitly tell you, if you guys find a place, look up. Is there a ceiling? If there's no ceiling, do not rent it, please. You will thank me later. If you look up, there's no ceiling. Guess what happens when it's noontime? It's like you're in a freaking oven.
Yeah.
Fact, I'm not making this up.
I'd have bought a new family in
You'll
Ecuador.
be baking inside that structure.
I'd have married a donkey over there and had donkeyettes. I'd have been done.
Yeah, no. Again, guys,
this is me, donkey.
If there's no ceiling, just don't. Do yourself
No
a favor.
way.
Don't. That's why I
No.
said. Hey, Cedric Edwards, how you doing? Good morning again. Hello from Zamboanga del Norte. Of course, he's in the good parts of Zamboanga del Norte.
Oh man, I just started a new life, man.
DJ says if he didn't pass basic training, he was not a Marine. Now remember, there's
and JW Dream, whoever you are, saying I'm like a typical woman. Yeah, but I'm here, and more than likely you're not. And if you are, it's because you left the West because you couldn't cut it as a man. Has nothing to do with it. Nothing. Not man enough, huh?
Yeah. Robert Hoffman says he was shot in the abdomen too. He says you're wrong. If he knew he was going to be taken.
You guys aren't man enough like George to handle a real woman in any manner. So you had to go for a kid. So go ahead. Well, I shouldn't have said a kid. They had to go for somebody they could control or deal.
I was gonna say that. She didn't.
So let me reiterate it. Yeah.
She meant you
Well,
don't.
most of them don't date within their age bracket. Usually, it's a deep distance, and these guys coming here.
Well,
They're
it's
leading
kind of
with
like
their
this.
Social Security
It's
wallet
kind of like
and
this.
complain about the Western women. And I have to put it out there because you know, you only swing in here, create an account, whatever vlogger you are or whatever person you are, and I'm sure one of those apply to you. I'm sure of it. So, but heard
What
about
Heidi's
something
saying again?
is bite
Again,
me.
I don't know you guys, and I don't know who she's talking to, but what she's saying is it takes more of a person to deal with somebody with a
Yeah, somebody with a new account.
stronger, a strong personality. You know what I'm saying? You know, and they're very rigid. You know, because everybody in our age are already rigid. We already have our own beliefs. Versus somebody that you can mold and control. That's what she's saying, and trust me, it takes a very advanced person to deal with Heidi. Trust me, if that makes any sense. I love my wife. I really do.
Hold
You know what
on.
I'm saying? Um, yeah, he didn't know he was going to be taken that day. Everyone knew that was a possibility.
Interesting. So,
But
JW, this isn't, you've renamed this account because it shows you made comments on prior live streams. And we've never seen a JW Dream. So, did you rename your account? Interesting. So, still not real. Still not your real name. Still not you. But either way.
after they dragged him, they put him in the boat and speared him off. When they realized
But
he was
definitely,
dead,
if that's
they
your
threw
real
him
photo,
overboard.
somebody who couldn't.
We have witness testimony on this.
He might have used his real photo. That might answer everything.
And again, David Z. I mean, honestly, I wish I could tell you what I know. And like I said, when I told Heidi,
Doubt it.
the lights like bing, like oh crap. Again, I have an expat wife. I can't say everything, especially on YouTube. Anyway, Vivian says he moved to an area that's living in a different time, like an
One
Amazon
second.
tribes.
I'm
You
take
simply can't move in and live as a Simper.
JW's in there attempting to say something, which you're not. He said that he was just commenting on what I said. But then he turned around and said, "You're like most women, always complaining." So no. So either way,
Nagai Vape says since nobody really knows except people actually participated, does this all fit under circumstances? Well, a lot of effort talking about someone who let this happen to themselves.
yeah, it was kind of strange how he did. So
Oh, dang, that is. There's a whole new batch of single moms with Chinese pogo babies. There you go. M Doggy says he died.
and what? So another.
Silver says third world and developing country means nothing. Sarah Tyson says independent contractor has a few definitions. He was a licensed electrician in Vermont.
Oh, okay.
Bruce says I know I can handle my wife. I'm a real man, Heidi George.
Yeah. Yeah, but your wife is not, she's not like super young or something. And she's, she's good people. Not everybody's the same.
Thora says poor Elliot, but he was foretelling it and knew it and it was going to happen and
But the
didn't
guys
leave.
need
So
to stop
sad.
blaming the American women. So most of them come through and blame. No, it was a two-party situation. It was never just one-sided. So if it's easier to get along here and move on and you're here because of the cheap rent and there's different reasons, that's it. But don't blame the American woman. So that's all I'm saying. And there's enough of that going on. I said I'm going to complain, but don't like label it American because you have an issue.
Thora says it's all about respect, regardless of who has the money. I need to learn to back down, even if I'm the breadwinner and I don't mind feeding my man.
Yeah. Yeah, I already
Curtis says, I told George over a week ago what the military and police had decided. It's exactly what I was told by the city officials.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Thank you again, Cedric, for keeping in touch with us. Yes.
He didn't say he was going to make money as a YouTuber. Yeah, actually, he did. Yeah, actually, he said that's how he was going to, and that he needed to, and he was trying to hit his numbers. So
No, he did, and again, there's nothing wrong with that. There really isn't. I mean, he did try, and like you said, David. I mean, YouTuber selling internet, running a store. He tried everything. Yeah, he did the 5-6. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with what he did as far as trying to make money by any means. Again, at least he tried. He made what's that old saying? He did the good old college try. You know what I'm saying? But in the end, I mean, that's also another thing. I think he did too much at the same time. No, sorry. Honestly, there's no money in that. I don't. There's really no money in that. The the PisoNet actually, the PisoNet works. Which, if the PisoNet works, I guess that would explain sorry. While they're using the internet there, they can buy some chips and soda.
yeah, I was just telling
So
Ted what you said. I meant to send that
that
earlier.
that kind of deal. So I see that now. The 5-6, I guess that's quick cash if you intend to collect. But the problem is, how do you collect? He doesn't have exactly muscle other than himself, which makes him a target. It's one of those. It's the 5-6 really is the one I have an issue with. It's just something you just don't do. Again, the reason being is because again, this is not speculation. This is not. It's a fact. Most 5-6 loners. If you're an expat, they'll find a way to have you deported. If you're a Filipino, you'll just be gone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And to Filipinos, not just foreigners. I mean, some foreigners disappear too, mysteriously. But Filipinos mysteriously disappear too who do 5-6 loans. So just don't do 5-6 loans, guys. Um,
No, that's exactly what Curtis was. He was saying was what we were saying, and we're in agreement
Yeah.
to that's originally probably what had happened.
Right.
And
Now Thor says, "Sorry guys, but all no okay.
they were just
Sorry
trying to
guys,
catch the
but
bad guys.
all women complain,
They do.
even the ones in the Philippines. Some will just leave the man to be with another in the Philippines. It ain't just American women.
No, it's not. And a lot of, just like 100%, they'll blame just a Filipina for this, and that, as they will the actual men will just place blame. But it happens the other way around too. So it's
Okay. So Second Wind says, okay, hey, I made 336 pesos last week. Sold some
woo!
coconuts.
You made more than me.
That's about the profit you'll make, about 300, 500. But you have to remember, you have to stick somebody to do that all day. That's probably going to be you or your wife, you know, your partner, male, female, male, female. I don't know. But point being, somebody has to man the store, as they say in the West.
Yeah, Sarah
Sarah
says, I'm sure I saw Carissa posted that she had 2 years university. School uniforms are in ukai stores. Kind of missing that. So your think is that, am I saying what that means?
she's saying she's in college.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. Her account show it was high school. That's a high school, and I didn't see anything about university anywhere. She's got multiple accounts, and on those accounts it shows when she entered high school. She said it and made comments on it. I don't think them were just made up. I definitely don't think I don't know where she would have had the 2 years university.
Yeah.
So
Kid Miller says I visited Surigao Island when only locals were there. Terrible how the foreigners had ruined it.
yeah, there's a lot of them there now. we need to.
Yeah, I know.
Or I don't want to because nobody will. The comments.
On my first trip, I was told that if Mama doesn't like it, your life will be up. There you go. 8 pesos per coconut. There you go. Curses around 50% thumbs up. Yeah, it does thumbs up.
Which is normal for our channel. So we're just happy everybody can join today.
Yeah, and someone says that's not an income again. That's just paying for. Yeah, again, exactly.
Victoria says it's a shame not many foreigners in the Philippines seen Elliot's channel before all this happening, because I'm sure those watching may have been loud enough to get him to listen to Get Out. Yeah, because during the live streams, there was only a couple people that were in there, 3 or 4 people. And during them last days and weeks, there was a few guys that came in and out. And he said that, I'm glad you guys are there, so I have somebody to talk to. He actually said that. So he didn't have anybody. And no, it's a shame, but here's the sad reality. They probably still wouldn't have anyways. The only reason he blipped on the radar and for most of us is because something happened. And so the coverage of him has been more of a warning and what happened and then a mystery. We knew they would dump the story. Tourism was sinking fast. They wanted to clear this. I just thought they would wait till after the first of the year, but they didn't. And then it didn't take long for 48 hours for it to flip into he's confirmed, gone. So it just really quickly flipped. Guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. We appreciate everybody coming
thank you
in.
everybody for your earlier input.
And our members, those that have
Thanks so
joined
much, Ted.
our YouTube membership. Thank you to our moderators, Ted. Thank you, Sarah for
Victoria.
coming in.
Bruce is with us today. Oh, Mark Goldberg was with us today.
Mark.
Yeah. Mark Goldberg again is a very knowledgeable guy. He's written several books. He's a dog trainer. He has his own channel. If you like watches, go check him out.
I don't know. Curtis said, did age matter if you're Muslim? Are you just regarding to overall the marriage or how things happen? Not really. I mean, sorry. With that kind of in the norm, I don't think we're not talking about Philippine norm. If you were back in America, if a girl was 16 or 17 and you was 26, it wouldn't be really super normal for that 8-year age gap. But just because she was Islamic, if he was a true Muslim in the U.S. when he came over, then maybe they would go by the bleeding thing. She's bleeding, she could be married. If you were in Kazakhstan and that was normal, people are using religion and these other things to actually make an excuse to marry these girls young. And there it's about having kids for farms and family. And there's reasons they allow women back in the days to get married, correct? It's for having kids and to grow up to help with the rice fields and farming and working to support a family, situation. To me, he just did it because who knows? But it wasn't he's not Muslim. His family is not Muslim. He's not.
He wasn't a true Muslim even when he converted.
Yeah. So age,
he wasn't in it for the religion, which is the wrong reason to convert.
Yeah, it just seemed like they had an Islamic marriage overall. But
yeah. Ken Miller says like and subscribe. Vivian Gibbons says thanks for the show. So bye all. Take care. Bruce Davis says okay. Thank you, Heidi, George, everyone. Ted Denkins. Have a great day, beautiful people. Good night.
And we have other footage and everything you guys can go watch and everything. And consider membership. We have different levels of membership, and there's a lot of other videos of us and other things that have been covered, other news and stuff. So
right.
Yeah, so we appreciate it.
And don't forget, let's play Call of Duty when you get your PS5.
No, you're not.
Okie dokies. Heidi, George. Later. Stay safe, everyone. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.
Sharia law applies as long as U.S. or Philippines law is not broken. It will if they go and file it with the courts. Sure. Yeah.
Well, either way, his marriage was not recognized. Because like I said, odds are he would have shown that paper if he did.
And if he was Muslim. It cannot be Sharia law if he was never Muslim to begin with. So that's
no, he's not. He's not a true Muslim. No.
If he was a real Muslim, so that just negates all of that, in my opinion. He's not really Muslim. So
no, it shows. It shows again. Yes. Not judging the guy, but
no, it's judging.
Any Muslim will tell you, no, he's not a real Muslim.
Nope.
All right, bye guys.
Bye guys.